Foreplay presented by Barstool Sports. We are back. Ooh, quick pop right out of the gate.
Hot start.
We go from talking in like normal voice to all of a sudden it's like showtime. So sometimes I feel like I need to be one of those musicians that like hypes himself up.
I don't know if we can. You know? That's a tough start to the show. Like I think we might need to just do
tough start to the show.
Maybe not take it out. Maybe not take it out, but you got to restart because I mean, that sounded like a 4-year-old.
You look like a 4-year-old.
I can.
Yes, good.
All right.
Get into it.
Really want me to restart it?
Do you want me to I can reclap.
No.
I leave all this in.
Clap and let him say Barstool Sports again like an adult.
Foreplay presented by Barstool Sports.
Yeah.
I will say there was no way to know there if it could have just done the same thing, and then we're in a little deja vu here. But anyways, we're back. We have the entire squad, myself, Frankie, Trent, Lurch. We got much to get to, including a few segments that I would like to get to. I have a new one that I came up with. I was a little bit inspired by our very own Frankie Borelli, a poet, a Robert Frost of his generation. I got a little yay or nay that I want to do, where I got a handful of things that I think they're close to 50-50. I'm going to throw them at everybody, and we see if that happens or doesn't happen throughout the year. And then we just have kind of our general bullshit to get to. So welcome back to the show, boys. How are we? How are we feeling? And just how are you? How are you handling your little January? Because it's about 70 and sunny here the last 4 days since you guys left Arizona.
It's been about 27 degrees and lower in New York City. And I always look at the weather app, and you scroll down, and it gives you the feels like, which has always been a little bit confusing to me because I don't know what the difference is between the standard temperature and what it feels like. To me, those are generally the same thing, I would imagine. I'm not a meteorologist or a weather expert, but it feels like, according to the app outside, like 9 degrees. And that's just, you're not, as many winters as I've been through, and Iowa has bad winters and New York has bad winters, you're just never quite ready for single-digit temperatures. It hits you like a new thing every single year. So I've been walking, to and from work, and it's been tough. And there's no light at the end of the tunnel in terms of golf outside of going to a place like 5-iron and hitting into a simulator, or Frankie, who's been going to Top Golf or wherever he goes. So it's a tough time for sure. And it's even tougher when you got a guy like you on the show, Riggs, who we just see you in beautiful weather all the time. So, that's a little update on what's going on, at least in my life.
Yeah, this time of year, I mean, it's especially because I tell people this a lot, but we're pretty much on East Coast time, so we're recording this at 8 a.m. my time, and, we don't have Barstool Classic, hasn't started up for a few months. We don't really have any video shoots here for a few weeks or a few months. So by like 10 a.m. today, I'm going to answer some stuff via email and a few calls, but I'm pretty much just going to go outside in beautiful weather and fuck around for 7 hours. It's going to be amazing.
Yep.
That's off the charts. That's just way better than what I'm about to do for the rest of the day. Roll this right into Axon to just selling drones, VR, the whole bit. But I agree with Trent, especially when you get a taste of it. Like I was just out in Arizona shortly after you guys, and you're like, oh my God, this is happening the same time that's happening for us. You can barely go outside right now and be comfortable. I mean, you only have a little bit of time before you're like, all right, I'm too cold. I'm just going to do something else. So yeah, you're never quite ready for it, and then you're in the hunt of it in the winter, and you're like justifying why it's okay and why you live here. And really, I just love to be a little bit warmer than I am.
Yeah, this winter I feel like I've done a really good job of like auto starting my car and waiting for cars to get warm and really like staying warm. I've yet to be cold yet this year.
Oh,
yeah.
You look cold right now.
No, I just like don't really feel that great this morning. So like I don't know, maybe something's coming over me, but there's just something about this year where I haven't had that chill yet. Nothing's hit my bone. Where even I don't know, even when I'm walking outside, for some reason I'm dressed correctly. I feel like past winters, it's usually caught me by surprise, and there's a couple weeks that go by where I'm not prepared with the right jacket or maybe gloves or a beanie. And this year I've been attacking it well, so I have not felt the wrath of this 19-degree weather at all this year, and it's actually been quite nice.
It's coming, though.
I'm jealous. Yeah. I don't know if I've been fully prepared. I'm in the same bucket. Like, I don't feel that well. I'm COVID conscious right now. Took a test yesterday or this morning, was negative. but that thing's going around like hotcakes in this area.
Yeah.
Everybody has it, dude. Everybody has it everywhere. I feel like it's just
Everybody.
like ridiculous. Every other person I text, like, "Oh, what are you up to tonight? Where are you doing next week?" I got COVID. I'm out. I got COVID. I'm out.
It's
But
all
I
over.
do think people have the Omicron version, which apparently, I mean, fingers crossed. But apparently, it's just most people are fine and not as sick as they were with the last. I feel like last year when people were getting it, a lot more folks were reporting that they were very sick, which obviously sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I woke up this morning. I was supposed to come in to do an interview for the travel series with eBug, and I just throat, nose running, and I was like, I can't. So I took a test this morning. It was negative. And I think I'm going to come into the office at like 6 or 7 p.m. tonight.
6 or
Yeah,
7 p.m.
I think
eBug's working late for me. Appreciate it, Bugger.
I think there's a good chance. I think there's a good chance I bolt out of the building once I'm done with this podcast, just to be, because it's everywhere. It doesn't matter where you're at, what you're doing, especially on the East Coast. It just seems like it's coming for everybody again. It's just it's happening again. So I got to get out of here, I think.
All right. Well, let's get to some more positive things. Let's talk a little bit of golf. I would like to say last show, we hit people with all kinds of stuff last show, which we're going to do a lot more of. I love that shit. I think the reviews were insanely positive. Us throwing Annika Sorenstam, who's one of the great players of all time, and then also a program scientist from fucking NASA at you in the same show, and then us going through our 2022 goals. We're going to get a lot more of that stuff going. So I love that. I love that little dichotomy that we had. Look forward to much more of that. If you didn't listen to that show, check it out. Eric Smith, one of the more generic names in American history, was just a fantastic interview. His insight, his knowledge about this thing. Can't wait till the pictures come back. Frankie, is it like late summer these pictures are coming back? Is that kind of what I was looking at? Midsummer, maybe?
Yes, midsummer, I think, is the goal for them to start getting images back. Yeah, he was fantastic. Dr. Eric Smith. I've never really met a guy with such confidence about things that no one else can possibly know about. And then he also relays it in a manner that makes it seem pretty normal. Like, I got a couple messages saying your guys' brains didn't really break during that podcast, and there wasn't many oh fuck moments. And I think that's because he explained them so normally that it was a little scary. And I kind of mentioned that last show before he came on, where I was saying he would just gloss over things like, yeah, I'm in the study of other galaxies. Yeah. And when you just say that sentence, it feels like, I don't know, like he's in a Marvel movie and he's just flying around trying to find Thanos. But in reality, he said it as though he goes to the grocery and picks out grapes. It was a ho-hum thing. Like, I study other galaxies, so definitely worth the listen. It was super, super interesting.
It was, and I can't wait to get him on next, because I think he will put our brains in a pretzel. Because as soon as we go one question deeper than that, like, then I think it's, what are you?
Well, it's when we start getting
about?
the images. That's when we start finding things that he can say, well, guys, the reason why this is interesting is because, and then
because
find out what's out
what
there.
We need to do is like we need to ask him, like, we need to somehow ask him a question about something that the only way to explain it is deeper than what we can understand, right? Like, he's been doing this for 30 years or whatever, so he's clearly trained and like, oh, I understand these subjects. I can look at these three people and know what they can understand, so here is how I'm going to explain it. And he could do it in a way that was pretty surface level. If there's some questions that we need to figure out how to ask where there's just no other option, he's just going to have to explain it like it is, and we're going to be sitting here like Trent, where are you stationed?
Like, is it iRobot where the hologram of the guy won't answer the question unless you ask the right question? Is that movie? That's what a guy like that is like, where it's like, if
Sonny?
you want
Is his name Sonny, the robot?
It's been so long since I've seen that movie, but he's like, you have to ask the right question to get the right answer out of me, and I feel like Eric Smith is a guy just like that. Like, you guys are saying, we're asking these questions that we are thinking to ask when we got to think of the right questions to get the right type of answers out of him.
So the guy who set up the interview for us was his son-in-law, Taylor, who had reached out to me, knows my love for space, and said, boy, do I have a good guest for you. My father-in-law works for NASA. If you guys ever want to learn anything about this. Actually, he didn't even say that. He was just like, pretty cool that he does this on a day-to-day basis, whatever. I don't really know much about what he does, but I just know he works on that spaceship thing. And I was like, man, I'd love to have him on this show tomorrow at 10 a.m. if possible. And they made it happen. It was unbelievably fast and so easy. I was texting Dr. Eric Smith that night at like 10:30 at night, and it happened very fast and super easy. But I do want to give out a shout out to Taylor for reaching out, because he just knew that would be right up our wheelhouse. And he said that they had a little watch party at his office, and everyone was going crazy just knowing that like the father-in-law was on foreplay, and to them that was a huge deal, which to us always like breaks our brains even more than him talking
what world
about
are
it.
we living in here?
Yeah, like they're all just kind of sitting around watching the space guy on Foreplay podcast. So that was pretty cool.
I feel
Imagine
bad
if
that
that was your father-in-law. Just like you sit down and have beers with him. It's like, I'm in sales. I do a podcast. It's like, dude, I study space. You are so like, you're having beers. You're trying to connect at some level. I mean, that's going to be a tough one for sure.
He literally watches Marvel movies just so that he has a little bit of social capital at the dinner table. Otherwise, he's just way up here, and he's got no shots. Nothing.
It was interesting. I was learning about their like relationship a little bit in these text messages. Taylor was like, I've known the guy for years. He does such high level things that he knows I'm the sports guy. So when we get together, we talk about that, and I'll probably learn a lot about this telescope from your podcast tomorrow, because like he'll talk more in detail about it. It's pretty funny that he must not bring a lot of his work home with him, because I would assume when you're working on stuff like that, I mean, gosh, when you come home, do you really? I mean, what is home to him? His home is out there. He doesn't have. This is not his home. He's renting on Earth.
But what you do learn is guys like that want to talk about it, because they feel like people aren't probably talking about it enough, because it is super interesting, super high level stuff that is tough to talk about at times. But if you get them talking, they really do want to talk about it.
What a burden, though. What a burden to be the only one that knows something. Don't you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many things that people can be experts in, but everyone else has kind of a feel for what's going on. Like when you're an expert in space and other galaxies and exoplanets, that's it, man. You're a one-ticket show, and whatever you say goes. You get me at a bar and you start talking to me about exoplanets and dust particles and fucking black holes. Whatever you say, I'm eating it up. As opposed to if you just work in the stock market, you have a stock, I have a stock, we can argue for days. You know what I mean? I can't argue with Dr. Eric Smith. He's just he sits me down, and that's it.
It's got to be tough for him, because even if he does go home and he wants to discuss it, no one can discuss it on a level that would be interesting to him, right? Like he just has to have really boring level conversations with people. You want to be challenged. You want someone to bring up a point or an interesting fact or an element or an angle that like you are stimulated by, and no one can do that. We can't fucking do that. He probably only could get that at work during lunch when he's not fucking cranking through the telescope computer looking at ones and zeros. Like it's gotta be like he's in a cage of fucking information.
We gotta what is the day-to-day there? Like when you get in, you grab a coffee, like what do you do? It's a good question.
Ones and zeros, I think.
Yeah,
I think it's ones and zeros.
They plug him into the fucking matrix and it's fucking 10 hours of that shit.
That is so true. Like our jobs are obviously a little different in terms of like not the normal 9 to 5. But when I worked at 9 to 5, I would go in there and I would just rip on a computer and I would just put different files in different places, and that passes off as work at a cube job. What does he do when he gets there? It's such important work that I don't even know where he starts. Like he gets his morning coffee, sits down at his desk, and then he just makes magic.
Right. I guess it's got to be just monitoring the thing that's okay, and then just studying every image that thing picks up to the finest level of detail that you could possibly imagine.
Smart people are so interesting.
They are.
Definitely.
He was a joy.
All right, BetterHelp. So we're talking a lot about, knowledge, the brain. This obviously can go straight towards mental health, how important that is. And we've used a lot of examples about how you work on, we spoke about our goals, how we want to get better at whether it's driving the ball further, whether it's your short game, whether it's your touch, whether it's figuring out how to score better in golf. We talked about 2022 goals in general as people, about how we want to eat healthier, and you can work on that. You can physically work on your body. Well, your mind is just as, if not more, important. And BetterHelp really, really, truly, honestly helps folks improve the health and the state of their mind. You think you should wait until things might be unbearable to go through therapy. That's just not true. Therapy is a tool to utilize before things get worse. Again, just like anything else, kind of prevention, being ahead of something is going to prevent further problems down the road. And BetterHelp, who we've partnered with, we're sponsored by BetterHelp. They're offering people 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Fore. But again, if you listen to this show for 5 minutes, if you listen to 400 episodes, you understand that BetterHelp, mental health is incredibly important. And I mean, I can't even imagine the insight that people must feel into our brains listening to us talk for what has to be just 600 hours, 700 hours they've listened to us just talk about fucking nothing.
Bro, there's one guy that, yeah. Oh, yeah, it was minutes. There was one guy that did like 18,000 minutes of our podcast in 2021, which is a lot, right?
That's a lot.
A lot of hours.
Let me just do a quick math on that.
Well, if we did an average of a 90-minute show and we did 100 shows a year, that's 9,000. And now you get people that go back, right, and re-listen to shows either from this year or from last year. You get into the 10, 15, 20,000 minutes of us doing this right here. This is the show that they're listening to.
18,000 minutes equates to 300 hours.
That's unfortunate. It really is.
We appreciate
it.
We appreciate it. It's a little unfortunate, maybe for that's just a lot. That's what's a lot of listening to four guys. Sometimes talk about golf, sometimes talk about space. We obviously appreciate it, but yeah.
So
that's 75 rounds of golf, basically. 75 full rounds of golf. That guy was just listening to us talk. That's the only thing he was doing.
It's a massive look into our brains if you're listening to us that much. So for sure, BetterHelp is the way to go when you know so much about us. And then you probably aren't thinking about yourself enough because you're listening to us for fucking 300 days. I think we all need to start working on the mental health. And I have a DM from a guy that really knows a lot about what I was talking about last show when it comes to the Yips. So this guy, Max, he specializes in sports medicine and sports rehabilitation and kind of heard me talking very generally about the Yips last show. And boy, are the Yips a real... Because I said there's got to be some sort of hormone or something that happens that gets released. Why I can't figure out why, like when I do it on the range and then when I go on the course, something physically happens. I physically feel it. And he goes, I want you to know it's an unbelievably real thing that you explain. It's called dystonia. It's a kind of movement disorder when a person gets sustained involuntary muscle contraction. So essentially, I mean, I could read this whole thing. It's super interesting. There are many causes. It could be genetic. It can be medically induced. It can be from a common task-oriented behavior that causes some underlying stress and anxiety. Some famous writers get what's called writer's cramps, where when they start really focusing hard on writing or finishing something they're writing, their hand cramps and they can't write anymore. It contracts. It's almost like your brain's way of telling your muscles that what you're about to do could cause severe anxiety and stress, and your brain tries to stop you from doing it. The Yips are a sports equivalent to writer's cramp. As you stand over the ball of the chip, an event that has filled your brain with stress and anxiety in the past, your brain is trying to unconsciously keep you from doing that action by literally contracting your forearm and hand and muscles. There are many genetic environmental factors that play into why you specifically get these contractions. One last note is that for people for whom these dystonic episodes are truly debilitating or career altering.
Peek into your reading ability, I would say.
Well, I gotta be honest, there's just a lot going on, especially in DMs. The same toxin from the come on, dude. The same toxin from the bacteria Clostridium.
Okay.
I mean, dude, this word is fucking outsane.
We're with you
today, Junior.
No.
All right,
we're on
Greg,
your
you
side.
speak like a 3-year-old and you went to Harvard.
No.
The same toxin from the bacteria Clostridium botulinum. I mean, come on, these words are not even real. It's Latin.
These words are
it's
tough.
It's Latin. It's Latin.
Let's get through it, buddy.
All right, he's talking about stepping on rusty nails and your muscles contracting by blocking the nerves. So basically, there's a thing that you can take, Clostridium botulinum, that you can take that would actually, it's almost like a nerve blocker, I'm assuming. It's the same thing that you take when you step onto a nail, and they block the thing that would stop it from getting into your muscles. It's a very small injection. And basically people will take this, and the pitcher, Rick Ankiel, took this to put it into his muscles to basically trick his brain into not contracting his arm muscle to see if that would work so that his arm wouldn't tense up when he went to go throw. So, dude, it is fucking crazy. And I do feel that like subconscious feeling of when I'm standing over a chip, I do definitely tense up when I go to hit it. And I wonder if that is what it is, the dystonian feeling or whatever that word is. It's scary, man, and it doesn't seem like there's a way of getting around it. There doesn't seem like there's any fix to that. I don't know how you can stop
Did your
brain
voice just crack too with a little nerve there?
No, it's more nervous. That was more of a nervous, like, I think I'm dead. Because I don't know where that goes. Do I just, like, crash my car next? Like what happened?
We had, when Brandel was on his run before Tiger's last comeback, when he obviously won the Masters, Brandel's big thing was that Tiger has the chipping yips and that there's no cure for basically physical yips on things like that, and that his biggest roadblock for Tiger coming back was he didn't see how he could get over that, and how there could be moments in no pressure environments where folks can get over things like the yips in any different sport, whether it's throwing or whether it's chipping or whether it's putting or whatever. And so he again would reference a lot of the things that you're referencing, which it's like there's a connection with the mind and the body, and that once you lose kind of that connection, there's no known way to get it back. And then Brandel has gone on and been like, it's a fucking miracle that guy somehow figured out, the injuries and all that he came back from, but the yips, you don't know how you get over that. So good luck.
What's scary is that your brain can cause physical changes and harm to you, right? Like you can actually subconsciously, not even realizing it, but you're contracting all of your muscles because of this thing in your brain that thinks you're about to experience an anxious and stressful moment. It's trying to stop you from doing that, and we have no realization that that's happening, and really no way to stop it at all. It's just happening subconsciously. So, he says at the end, I just want to give you the reassurance that the yips are certainly real, mental challenge, that some people are prone to getting in repeated stressful events, especially if you are already an anxious and stressed out individual, which is exactly what I am. It's a repeated stressful event. It's 10 to 15 times a round in golf. So, we'll see. Hopefully, I will now check all the avenues to see how I can fix this, because there's got to be a way. Guys get over it. Rick Ankiel didn't get over it. He literally had to leave the Major League Baseball, all the millions of dollars he was making, his awesome house and everything that he was doing. He had to end all of that and had to go learn the sport again to hit and play the outfield. So I don't know if I'll be able to get over this, but I will try.
There's no better representation of exactly what you're describing than juxtapositioning your session that you had at Bandon Dunes around that chipping green, which it's very difficult to chip around that area. It's firm, straggly, stringy little lies that are not perfect, and you were just flushing pitch after pitch, chip after chip, to the point where you were holing out, and then the second that you step on the golf course, it's over. And that's just got to be so frustrating. And again, we all have things that we're just horrible at, undoubtedly. But that, to me, to my brain, I thought, okay, he finally put the time in. He has figured it out. For an hour, you were chipping around better than I was, better than people around there. Where I'm watching all kinds of nice Bandon Dunes guests, just blade shots and chunk shots, not Frankie Borelli. And yet, the minute that you get on the golf course, for some reason, your brain says, holy fuck, oh no. And there's a physical connection between your brain and your butt. And it's amazing,
dude,
man. It's amazing. I'm rooting for you to get over it.
Are we gonna have to get this guy hypnotized?
Bro, I don't know, man.
It.
I think it's scary shit that we're not thinking about what this fucking brain does. The second thing I want to say is that there's a video that's going to come out from TaylorMade that is really, like, people are going to think I was making it up with Tommy Fleetwood, and he's just like chipped this ball onto the green, and I couldn't do it. And it when you read something like this from a guy who knows what he's talking about, and he's saying, like, it's a repeated stressful event, I'm probably thinking to myself, oh, fuck, here we go again. And subconsciously, my brain's like, let's stop that from happening, because we don't like that feeling when you get into this anxious, stressed out, like, state. and we're going to try and stop you from chipping this ball. I really think that's what happened because, I mean, you guys saw I couldn't get the ball onto the green from, 7 yards away? I couldn't do it. Even Tommy Fleet was like, what's happening here? Are you guys fucking with me? So, yeah, no, it's scary. It really is scary. And that was a stressful event. Like, I was like, you have to chip this ball onto the green, Frankie. You have to, because everyone's watching. We have to get onto the next video. You have to chip this ball on the green, and I couldn't.
It's just an endless loop. It just loops itself, and it's. Yeah, I don't know.
So
Unfortunately,
maybe I take that fucking word that I couldn't pronounce. I still can't pronounce it. I'm going to try one last time. People are going to fucking freak out. All right. It's called Clostridium botulinum. Botulinum. Clostridium botulinum.
And what is that? That's the what goes into your brain at the time, or that?
No, that is that's something that you're going to actually get injected. It can be injected in a very small concentration into a part of the body to cause muscle relaxation. Your muscles literally will not be able to contract from that feeling, that subconscious feeling that your brain is going to your arms. Now, does that mean that your forearms just are loosey-goosey gummy bears? I don't know. This is what Botox does to your face. It's just repeatedly giving injection of the toxin that eventually permanently damage the muscle connection to the nerves so that the muscles shrink in size. Hence, you lose wrinkles and your face looks skinnier. So I don't know if I want to do that to my arms.
Put a little Botox on your.
I don't know if I want to do that.
You'll be fine.
I don't know if I want to do that with my arms, but I don't know. We'll see. If it gets to the level of me putting Botox in my forearms, I think that at that point we have to realize that I don't care about getting better at the game of golf. Because I'm not putting Botox in my arms, and we're just gonna have to. I'm just gonna have to putt from everywhere and just get the ball in the green. I'm not putting.
Or you just know that you're a complete psychopath if you're putting Botox in your arm. So I mean, I think we've lost the brain at that point. So there's no sense in even going down.
If I have this anxious, this thing that's happening in my brain that I can't chip, and the only option is to put Botox in my arms, I'm letting you guys know. It's been fun doing the podcast and all this stuff. Yeah. I'm not doing it. So if you want to kick me off for not hitting my chips, I don't care. I'm done.
Wasn't VJ Singh putting like deer blood in his fucking arms at one point or something like that?
Bro,
when he ended up getting suspended.
I think Ray
deal,
Lewis
deer antler spray or something.
Yeah, Ray Lewis put that on like his on some ligament, and he healed in like a week.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
How do you get a hold of deer antler spray? Just like you can't pick that up. I don't know where you're getting that.
What are people doing where they're out there discovering that deer antler spray will grow back your fucking like your ear in like 2 seconds?
There's a lot of things that these athletes are doing that we're not doing that humans should have access to. They're just their way of life. There's a reason why they're the healthiest people on the planet. They're just doing simple things like the way that they do saunas to ice baths, and their hearts are constantly pumping. And you get a look at some of these guys' Whoop bands, and like, yeah, we see the Whoop on PGA Tour where you see like it going 140 beats per second and then per minute, and then you're like, oh yeah, they're like us. They get nervous, bro. If you look at their daily strain, their recovery, and their all their HRV stuff, all their stats, it would make you think we're gonna die when we're 40 years old. Like when I compare my Whoop to a professional athlete's for resting heart rate, I'm 20 to 30 beats per minute higher. Like I was like a 70, and they're 45 resting heartbeat, and that's just their heart is working so much less than mine. It's beating so much less and so much stronger and will last so much longer than mine.
Well, I remember when Lance Armstrong was in his prime, and obviously there's some asterisk to all this, but he was at like 11 beats per minute when he was at his peak. So it was just like every 6 seconds, it's just like, just the strongest heart in the world. And you're right, Frankie. If I was looking at my Whoop the other day, I'm at like 68 beats per minute. So that's more than 1 beat a second, which is certainly not healthy. And another thing about a professional athlete, like I remember reading an article, LeBron James spends like $2 million a year on his body. He sleeps in a cryo freezer every night. He's doing all these different things. And this is obviously the tip and the other end of the spectrum where they're professional athletes, so their bodies are just going to be insane.
Better.
But we're
doing zero of them.
Right.
Zero.
We don't need to be on the far other end. Like we could be doing way better than we're doing right now.
Right. Like if he's going extreme on this side,
Yeah.
we're going here, and then there's a line, and then we're going the other direction. Like, we're actually harming it, like,
That's
to a
right.
significant degree, while they're doing everything they can to improve it.
That's right.
I had a
I'm
roller
looking at
hockey.
my heart rate right now, and I'm at 67, which is amazing. Usually I'm up at like 83 to 86
Oh, I'm gonna be really
as
high
I
right now,
sit
dude.
on like in front of my computer. And right now I'm 70, 69,
I
67.
did
I
a
will
roll-
not be releasing my number.
Ri-
I will not be releasing my number right now.
Is it
I gotta
over
get it
100?
together, dude. No. It's close. I
Trent,
will
Trent,
not.
give-
Is
Trent,
it in
give
the
us a
90s?
No,
number.
no, that's ridiculous.
Is it
but
in the
I'm at
90s?
97.
Trent, give
I'm
us a
at-
number, dude.
I'm at 93.
Yeah, you got
I'm
work
at
to do, man.
I'm at 71 right now.
I don't think I'm gonna make
I'm
it.
at 63. I'm at 63.
Yeah, I think we got to get out of the 90s, dude. We got to get out of the 90s. 90s is like you're jogging. You're jogging.
Last night I played.
Trent's jogging
Last night I
at
had a roller.
170.
The Long Island Sauce played in their third hockey game. Our roller hockey team. We went up a division. It's a league that I'm not supposed to be in for sure. There's very good talent. We have good talent on our team. I'm out of my league there, boys. It's just one of those things where the game's just fast and it's moving, and I'm standing there, and but you know, I'm holding my own. I'm getting pucks deep, and I'm trying to get in the right positions. It's bad. Like, they'll hit me with these passes into these entries, these zone entries, and I just can't handle them, and they know it, and it is what it is. But I want to say that last night I got my heart rate up to like 185, and when you look at like the hour and a half of just the workout, like it was a 14.5 strain for an hour, which was fucking awesome. And
Yeah,
you want to know
that
the
is
difference
awesome.
between us and the professional athletes? I came home and I went to go ice my wrist because I got fucking tripped. We were down 4-2 with a minute and 10 seconds left, so we pulled our goalie, and I was the extra man on because we only had 8 guys, and and the other 2 guys were defensive. I came on, got the puck, got into the zone, and I actually got around a guy for the first time all game. And I'm like, holy fuck, let's go. I saw a lane, and a guy behind me just trips me. I just step on his blade, and I just completely wipe out, land on my fucking wrist, and I'm looking around like, all right, no one's going to call anything, and the ref goes to me, he goes, oh, I'm sorry, you suck, so I just thought you fell. And everyone laughed, and I'm like, I get it. And I went up to, and I was like, so you just like missed it, and then now we lose the game, because then we ended up scoring a goal. And like, I mean, come on, man, like, we're trying to do something here. The guy clearly tripped me. The guy who tripped me was a stoolie. He comes up to me and goes, I've never tripped anyone worse than that. You literally, I put my foot, my blade, my stick under your skates, and you stepped on them, and it was over, and you just fell.
I'm sorry, you suck.
He goes, I'm sorry, dude. Like, you kind of suck. I thought you just fell. I was on the other side of the rink. Like, I also don't care. I'm like a 20-year-old kid that just wants to get out of here. Like, I just like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't
totally.
care. And I was mad. I was like, dude, you suck, but I get it.
Like, there are
Birch can
stars
tell
in
you-
the game who get preferable treatment. Like,
Yeah.
LeBron will get a call that somebody doesn't get. You're not LeBron. They're just
I
like,
get
oh, that
it.
guy
No.
sucks.
Dude, I got folded by we have a big boy on our team, and he puts in some effort, but it's not much. He knows his limitations. He barely skates around. It's a very funny thing to see. He's huge. And he folded me like a pancake last night because I went to go reach and do like an extra energy type thing where I leaned and tried to get the puck and poke it away, and he tripped at the same time. My head went into his gut, and then he fell on top of me, and everyone went, ooh, it looked like a cartoon where all the dust then came over us, and I had the little Tweety birds around my head, and he looked at me and goes, I'm sorry, dude. I mean, I'm talking a couple 100 pounds fell on top of me with force, and I was like, 67. Come on, man. Like, we gotta do that to the other team, dude. I can barely get up.
And I forget, you were in the E League or something like that, maybe G League. What are you?
Yeah,
what
we're
league
in
are you in now?
we're in the B now,
G?
so
Oh,
it's
boy.
yeah,
it's a
dude,
big
there's
step
some
up.
talent. There's talent there, boys. There was a guy that looked like Weird Al Yankovic last night with his hair all over down to it was down to his hip, and he was a professional hockey player. Professional. I mean, I looked at him saying, "What are you doing out here right now? Really? Like, let us have fun. What are you doing out here?" Poking
I think you need to
everyone's
go back
fucking...
a league. I think you're probably.
Thing is, we have good players now, so like, you know, these games
but
are
you
still
yourself.
tight. Oh, I
feel
would.
like-
Yeah, I can't play with my friends anymore. It's over. I had fun.
Yeah. Did you guys lose last night?
Yeah.
So you're 0-2 with you, and they won when you weren't there, right?
Yeah, 1-3. Yeah.
And
0-2
you-
with me.
And
0-2
you were
with the
lighting
jerseys.
up the stats. Like in the G League, you
Yeah.
were like you had goals and stuff. I don't
Yeah.
feel like we're getting
Point per
many
game.
G notes.
I have 0 points through 2 games.
What's the plus minus?
Oh, it's gotta be -8, -9. It's every time I'm out there.
Might just have to be the coach or the water boy, the manager or something.
It's every time I'm out there they score. Our goalie's so good. It's unfortunate.
Lurch could attest, man, that I would go to war with the referees in men's league hockey. And it's bullshit because these guys are on a power trip and there's no one to stop them. I mean, this 11:15 p.m. game when the guy's making $18 an hour and he's out there and he's got like his 90 minutes of the week where he's in control. It's his ice rink. And it's anarchy that there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, if the guy just decides he doesn't like you and calls shitty penalties against you or something, there's literally nothing you can do about it. There's no like manager on site. There's no one overseeing the referee like committee. This guy just calls that and then he just like smirks at you and then you just yell at him and then that's just it. Then the other team like makes fun of you and then it's chaos. There's nothing you can do about it. You're
chaos.
Completely helpless against these fucking guys.
It's complete chaos. But no, it was more funny because I was like I'm on my ass as the play's happening and we're arguing and we're both laughing. I'm like, dude, I know I suck. You just missed it. And he's like, just get up. The game's over. I was like, you're right. Like I know it's over, but I was like, dude, I finally got around this fucking guy. It's like it was funny. It was good, but I got to get better. I just got to get better. So yeah, I'm not feeling it this year.
Men's league it's a funny game because like then you get. Because I was the big body, but I was like full effort, full energy, but I sucked. So like, I mean, there was times where I would just fall or I would just take the puck right into the corner because I knew I couldn't get around a guy, but I would eat it so my team could get a change. Like I was, without question, the worst player on our team. Because like Riggs is obviously good and all my other buddies that were on this team were good too. But so I was on the other side where my role was really to like piss people off. I think I was the most hated guy in the league because I was big body. I wore goalie skates some games, lacrosse helmet, and I would literally just eat the puck or just complete try hard, back check. Nobody wanted any piece of that. And then my clearing or breakout passes were horrible. Like I forget it was Riggs or Biega, but they were coming across the ice and it was perfect. It's just a tape to tape and you just rip it at him. For whatever reason, I threw it like 3 to 4 inches off the ice, which is literally the worst spot a puck could be. And I think it just clipped one of them in the ankle. And now my own team's screaming at me. Anyway.
Yeah, that was me. Because I remember if you fucking pass it waist high, you can catch it and drop it in front of you. No problem. If you throw it on the ice, you can just catch it. Even if you throw it a little bit behind, you can use your skates and sort of like, finagle it up to your stick.
Yeah.
You throw it 3 inches, like nobody on earth could do anything with that. It's like, it's impossible. And then 3 inches, 4 inches in the air and it hits your ankle. That's the one spot where you're just fully vulnerable and you just buckle to the ice. Like, Jesus. And if that happens, if another player on another team, sends a puck at you that way, you're mad at them for months. When it's fucking Lurch, your defenseman, who's just got a clear look at you on the ice, oh boy, we would grind. But great locker room, guys.
Great locker room.
You couldn't be upset. Yeah, you couldn't be upset.
I will say I came back home. I came back home. I had bruises. My wrist hurts because I fell so hard. I go into the freezer and it was like a movie scene. I open up the freezer and it was like doom doom, and I saw cookie dough ice cream in there, and I had just did this amazing workout. I actually hit a simulator before, so I had like a 15 something strain yesterday, maybe even 16 actually. It was like my highest ever, and I just closed the freezer, man. I closed it and went to bed.
Whoa.
Good man.
I closed the freezer. And because I thought about that whoop, I thought about how we're not even the same human beings as these people. And I just closed that freezer and I went to bed and I woke up feeling okay. I mean, I feel a little shitty actually today. And I don't know if it's because of the Omicron cold that's going around, but I don't know. There's something about playing that fucking men's league that just makes me feel like shit the next day. And it's probably because I'm getting beat up.
Frankie, a quick question for you. What are some of the great T-shirts in the world called again that you rock day in and day out?
Oh my God, true classic.
True classic tees. True classics. True classic. Here's the two things we're not supposed to say: true classic tees or true classics. I will say, if they write in the copy, do not say this. What do you think?
Well, it's interesting because their website's True Classic Tees, right? When I've spent maybe $1,000 on True Classic. I'm just gonna be completely honest with you guys. I've got T-shirts, hoodies, jackets, True Classic. I'm a True Classic guy. I've never really talked about it. And then when I saw that they were a supporter of the brand, I went crazy. So True Classic is it's the softest t-shirt you'll ever wear. It's a t-shirt you can wear to bed or to wear to a bar. And I've really never seen that combo ever. Usually a t-shirt you wear to bed is very thin, nipply. You can almost see the threading. It's got structure to it. It's tight around the arms. It's loose around the belly. It's got form, and it's so comfortable. When you open it up out of the bag, it doesn't have all those things on it. You know, sometimes these t-shirts have little holders on them around the shoulders, and then when you put the t-shirt on, it's like cardboard, or maybe sometimes they have all these stickers on them or these tags. It doesn't come with any tags, no stickers. You just take it out of the bag, you put it on, and it's so soft. It's the softest t-shirt ever. And they've got a million just plain colors. Their hoodies are phenomenal. Large hoodies with nice big hoods. I wore one last night.
Yeah, I think Jake Bass said that there's a bunch in the office, because I have yet to experience the True Classic, and I want to, the way that you talk it up, especially the hoodies. I'm a big hoodie guy, so I think when I'm done here, I'm going to grab as many hoodies as I can get my hands on and then just wear them every day.
Yep.
Everybody's always looking for better clothing, consistent, reliable. Everybody, especially like Frankie's saying, they're simple. You get a bunch of the tees, you throw them on, it becomes your look. They're comfortable, they fit right, they fit where you want them to fit a certain way on the body, and then also the arms. A lot of times t-shirts are backwards, or you wish they were not True Classic. You can go to trueclassic.com for 20% off. Use the promo code FOREPLAY. That is one word, FOREPLAY. Again, go to trueclassic.com and end your search for the perfect shirt. Trueclassic.com, 20% off. Use the promo code FOREPLAY. So I had a crazy coincidence last week. And again, there's a few things I wanted to talk about, but last show was full. So I went down to North Carolina for just 2 or 3 quick days. As folks know, bought a home there. It was kind of a dream of mine since I left Pinehurst a year ago. I don't know anything about markets or crypto, so if I had any money, I wanted to invest in shit that I know, which is like golf trips in Pinehurst. So bought a home there. I want to make it a really cool golf cottage, rent it out, let people get an awesome experience, use kind of my experiences and information there to like set up awesome golf trips for people. So I need to do some renovations to the home, a couple tweaks so that it's ready for people to go rent and stay and all that stuff. So booked like 3 weeks ago this walkthrough with the general contractor who's going to obviously come through and set it all up and do the work and all that. Well, the reason we couldn't book it earlier is because the guy was out in Arizona for a week for like vacation, wintertime, whatever. So I'm like, great, I'll meet you there. My brother's going to come and help me with it too, which he did, and it went really well. But on Thursday, I'm flying from Arizona to Raleigh, North Carolina. And I'm on the plane, Southwest, where, it's first come, first serve. It's an absolute war zone trying to get a seat. I pay the extra $25, wherever it is. I'm like 28. Get on the plane. I'm in like the 4th row, sitting in the window. Guy sits in the aisle, and the guy in the aisle is a big stoolie, so he's chatting me up. So what are you doing? I said, I'm actually going to Pinehurst. I bought a home there. I'm going to make a couple changes to the home and meeting with a general contractor. And a guy in the aisle goes, I'm that general contractor.
Whoa.
And I was like, What? And he reaches out, shakes my hand, and goes, oh, yeah, you're Riggs, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, Michael, as he's like walking by, and then he's like, yeah, I'll see you this weekend. And then he just was gone from my life. And the next time I see him was Sunday morning at 10 a.m. We had a walkthrough, and he goes, I've been telling everybody about how insane that. And I thought it was somebody like trying to joke around that they were going to steal the job. Like, I'm your general contractor now, bitch, or whatever. And it was just the guy. So of all the times in the world, I don't know if I've ever said the words out loud, like I'm meeting with a general contractor. And the one time I ever said that, the guy was walking by in the aisle to Southwest to go sit in like 24C or whatever.
That's unfortunate, because now you're a part of some sort of story that you're not writing. You're in someone else's movie now, because I
almost got off the plane.
Yeah,
I almost got off the plane.
Yeah. You're in his movie now. You're in the general contractor's movie, because he was supposed to be there at that time. You're just an extra character, and you're now you're subconsciously understanding it now, but you've always been in his world.
I don't know. It's you're right. Somebody's in somebody's movie. I don't know if we know who's who yet.
I think Riggs is in his movie. That guy just kept moving and was like, "Oh, I'm the guy." It was too easy for him. Like, think about his day. He walked on that plane, and the guy that he's seeing on Sundays talking about him, he probably feels like, That's his big ticket movie. He's never had a bigger movie than that in his entire life. He walks on a plane, a guy in a random fucking 4D is just talking about him, and then he just says, "Yep, that's me," and just keeps walking. That's crazy. What are we talking about here? That guy's
Dude,
a fucking
if he would have
superstar.
winked at me or something, I was gonna call like the TSA and be like, "You guys have to stop this plane. Nobody can go in there." Like it was appalling. And then the stoolie that I was talking to, looked at me and he's like, "What the fuck is going on here?" And I was just like, "Dude, I don't know. I was just trying to tell you a quick story and like explain something and just get through this conversation so I could just go to sleep over here against the window." And then it was the weirdest fucking coincidence I've ever seen. The amount of timing and shit that had to go great. So again, I'm a little bit on edge for the last like week and a half since that happened.
Absolutely.
As it should be.
It was shell shocking. And then the other experience I want to talk about is I played around at Tobacco Road with Graeme McDowell. And then we have a mutual buddy, this guy Jordan, who played in the Barstool Classic, who I know. They were in town, so we set up this round at Tobacco Road. And we've had a lot of these experiences where there's guys that we see on TV that we know that you hear good things about, but you're not sure. Well, I spent like Sauer and McDowell playing around to golf at Tobacco Road. Just an all-time total beauty, complete legend. Guy is so down to earth and normal. He had in his bag too, he brought like a couple whiskey nips. So it was probably 45 degrees while we were playing. He had like cigars, some whiskey nips. He pulled them out at the exact right time. Loved to get out there and chirp. I like hole 4. He's chirping. I get a shitty lie in the bunker and he'd walk over there and be like, "I was hoping it would look like that," and just kind of got it and understood like he was one of the guys the whole time. We're obviously going to get him on the show. That was a big part. I just kept saying like, "You got to be on." And then, he was doing the thing that we're always surprised by, where he was referencing a lot of the stuff that we had done. So he's very much aware and like appreciating what we do and what Dave was doing all the time. And you kind of have a little bit of a holy shit moment where you're like, the fact that other people are conscious and know and experiencing what we're doing is always going to be really shocking. When it's somebody like Graeme McDowell, who again, incredibly connected, US Open winner, incredibly connected with the European Ryder Cup team. He hit a Ryder Cup winning like putt. He took down Tiger that year in his own tournament when he made those huge putts. Like, so he's been a part of some just shockingly important moments in the history of golf. And he's out there on just a random Friday in 40-degree weather, slapping it around at Tobacco Road with somebody like me. So I just had to say, like, incredibly, incredibly good dude. We're going to get him on the show, and he's going to be phenomenal. He's got that great, like, Northern Irish little accent that's always very, very welcoming. It's like anytime somebody speaks like that, you just feel like you're having a Guinness in a cool little pub, and that they'll tell you your whole life story and that they care about you. And he just gives that off the entire time. So really, really good dude, and we're going to get him on the show. I think he's going to be a really good guest.
Did he tear that place up, Tobacco Road?
I will say it was cold. It was really cold. Like, it was probably in the 30s when we teed off, so everyone was kind of just getting through it. But yeah, on the back nine, he probably had, 4 or 5 birdies, and he'd never seen the place before, and he didn't make any putts and was probably shot like 68 or 67 or something out there.
Cool.
Yep.
And you know how that place is.
Yeah.
Like, there were a few shots that he hit where he's like, I think that's a good line, and he got up there and was in a horrible place. And then there were some where once he started really figuring out, kind of warmed up on the back nine, he had like probably 3 birdies in a row, I think he had at one point. So, yeah.
He's a major winner. Like, yeah, he's going to tear it. Like, even if he plays bad, it's 66, whatever, 68.
Dude, he doesn't ever not hit it exactly where he wants to hit it. Like, he just hits it straight with his driver, non-fucking stop. And we had I got to say, we had a really funny moment where the day before we were texting about the round, and we never really met before, so everybody's kind of hyped up, and you're trying to get juiced up for the round. He said, "Hey, if you need any like stuff or TaylorMade stuff or whatever, I know you kind of use those. Let me know. I got a bunch of extra clubs and balls." And he's like, "I was supposed to pick up my like Stealth. I'd love for you to check it out, but unfortunately it got delayed." And I was like, "Hey, I don't want to be an asshole, but like, I have a Stealth. I'm gonna like have it tomorrow." And then the next day on the range, I pulled it out again, and he saw it was all. But then he goes, "The second I sent that text message, I said in my head, I bet this fucking guy has a Stealth before I do."
Yep.
And I was like, "Yeah, I have one if you want to check it out." And he's like, "I knew that was coming." And then of course, I hit a couple really good drives, a couple shitty ones, and he took it and used it on one tee and just hit one like 305 yards down the middle with it the first time seeing it. And he's like, "Yeah, I kind of like it." So it's just, the guy can't not hit the golf ball straight. It's always amazing to me to watch how good somebody who's really good at golf actually can be at golf.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time, but these guys are there. It's crazy how much better they are than everybody else. Like, I always think about it when Dylan DeChair talks about it, because he's a fucking really good golfer. And whenever he is like, he's mentioned it on a tweet during Kapalua, being like, it's crazy, like actually crazy how good and how consistent these guys are and how low they can go. And for a guy like Dylan DeChair to be saying that, like when they come across guys like us, it's two different species, really. It's really, really an impressive thing.
Dude, and again, there was such funny conversations 2 or 3 holes in when like I got this new stealth and he's like, I knew you would have it before and I can't, I'm hitting half of them off the planet and I'm hitting some really good ones. And then here's the guy that like couldn't get one in time and he just can't fucking miss. And you're like, the world is clearly ass backwards. So
any 300-yard drives out of your rigs yesterday? Any bombs or when you were there?
I will say I hit a couple that when you really catch it with that thing, people in the group are like, oh, okay, whoa. Like it comes off. It just pops off that. It is an extra like 5 or whatever mile an hour ball speed that you get off that thing when you catch one. So even my brother, because my brother was there, we played one round and he's seen me play as much golf and been through every phase of my golf game as possible. And there are a few drives I hit with the thing where he was like, all right, that was different, whatever that was.
I have a stealth driver collecting dust in my New York City apartment, and Graeme McDowell can't get one. That's not right, all right? Whatever's going on, I appreciate everything TaylorMade does for us. They're the best. Frankie's hat right now is really great. But the fact that I have one that the fact that I have one that I'm not going to use in Graeme McDowell is looking at rigs like, oh my God, you have one and I don't? Something ain't right.
That might be something.
It was
not
a
right
weird moment.
I think you need to take that thing out of that box and like look at it. The second thing, because I mean it's it's amazing to look at. I've used it 5 days in a row now. I love it. I think I'm hitting it too much, to be honest. I think I'm taking today off. My shoulders feel like they're being attached by dental floss. I'm done swinging a golf club. I don't know how these guys do it every day. I've probably hit over 1,000 balls this week, and I can't. They must hit 1,000. They hit 1,000 balls a day. You think, like when they practice, these guys? I mean, how many balls do you think they hit? 500,
a lot.
maybe.
Yeah,
but you gotta build up to it. You can't just throw yourself into the deep end.
I'm trying to. So I'm trying to hit like 100 a day, and then 100 turns into we hit maybe 75 in the practice, and then we did the sim and played 18 holes. So that was another. You know what I mean? So that was 185 or whatever it was, 190. It was a lot of fucking.
Don't stop, Frankie. Keep going, dude.
My shoulders were done, dude. We played the links at Spanish Bay on this simulator at this place, big indoor golf last night. Kind of a weird spot. I really liked the place because it was kind of weird. It was one of those places they didn't have any signs on the outside. They have one follower on Instagram. The guy was kind of just like it was cool. The thing about this place, big indoor golf, it's in Farmingdale.
They have one follower on Instagram.
It was weird.
Is it you?
No, I think they just opened up. Basically, you know when you see a place in a strip mall and it's just those poles and it's that weird lighting and carpet and it's like you can lease this for whatever amount of month and it's just got that look to it. Every place that hasn't been redone, it's just got those white walls and gray carpet. This place kind of is just that with a bunch of really massive simulators in it. Like their selling point is that they're bigger screens and longer distance from where you hit it to the screen. So you actually feel like you're getting a little bit more. You can actually tell where the ball was going a little bit more because you're not right up against the screen like at a 5-iron. It's a little bit further away. It's big indoor golf.
So a good chance to miss the screen though too.
No, the screens are huge with netting on top and on the left. So yeah, you couldn't miss it, but there's netting everywhere. So that was really cool. But by the time I got to like the 14th hole at Spanish Bay, I couldn't swing anymore. My arms were fucking so tired. My wrists were. You know another thing that's happening with me? My wrists are cracking every time I take the club back.
You
said that the other day when we were at 5-iron, and I hadn't noticed it until you said something, and now every time you swing, I can hear it.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. I can't. I can do this right now and it won't crack, but for some reason, club on the ground, takeaway, it just goes. It's infuriating.
Also, yeah, I feel like a lot of us go from like 0 to 100. Like you haven't done much, and then all of a sudden you're hitting 1,000 golf balls over the last couple of days and playing 18 holes in a simulator. It's like that's a mess. Then Trent goes from his New York City apartment to like Walking Bandit. And it's like, what are we even doing here? So we all we're just not trained. So we're just a mess. Trent's heart rate is at 96 right now as we're talking. Like,
Resting
we're not
heart rate,
physically
96.
able to do things that we should. And so when we're put into situations where you play 4 or 5 rounds of golf in back-to-back days and you're walking, like, you're just going to naturally fall apart.
Right.
And I
like,
do
would it be
no
a good
preparation. We do zero preparation.
Nothing.
Would it be a good idea for me right now to get up from this chair and go run a marathon? No. But that's like, we're basically doing that in different ways.
But it would be good to go run a mile. Like, that's the difference.
Right. But
Trent doesn't like that.
We do need to find that middle ground, because I think I think yesterday I really saw, okay, this is actually hurting my game now, because I was duck hooking shots, and I didn't have it. In the beginning, I kind of did on the range when we were just hitting balls into it. I'm like, man, I am just feeling it this week. I'm hitting stripe shows. And then I was like, man, I can't get around these balls, and I feel like my wrists are hurting and my shoulders. I got to stop. And I literally
you need
stopped.
to hit 50 balls a day. Just 50 balls a day, and then you
or
scale
maybe you
up.
just take a couple days off in between. It's also like lifting,
Yeah.
where they say you take a couple days off, you go back, and it is a fucking workout. And it really opens your eyes to these pros and Tiger's back and all the things that they have to do. Like, it's stunning how much pressure you're putting on, like, your lower back and your shoulders and your neck, things that you don't even think about. Just leaning over the ball and doing an athletic swing it's so bad for your back. It's amazing that these guys practice as much as they do.
Plus, when these guys get to the point, where they have made so much money, it'd be so easy for them to just not go do this.
100%.
Like, if you're Ricky or Rory in those certain phases where people chirp them about underperforming and why aren't they grinding when it's like, well, imagine if you have 50 or 100 or 200 million in the bank, and they're going out there and they're like going to do and go through what Frankie's going through right now. It'd be like a lot easier to just not do that.
I was thinking about that the other day when Andrew Luck popped up on the broadcast for whatever game it was. I forget what it was, but so rarely do you see guys in any professional sport, golf, football, whatever, who once they have, and I don't really remember exactly what Andrew Luck's reasonings were, so I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I was looking at his career earnings. He made $109 million on the football field when he was playing, and then at a certain point, he was just like, I'm out of here. And you so rarely see that. When you're right, Riggs, Rory or Ricky or pretty much anybody that you know about in the world of golf could just say, I'm done with this and be totally fine. And so few of them do that. And it's what makes Andrew Luck so interesting. But I don't know. They just walk. Some people can walk away, but most really can't.
I think so. I think some guys
football's
are
different than golf, obviously. Football's different.
Totally.
There's a whole different thing with that.
I think that there's a certain type of person that's able to walk away, but with sports specifically, I almost get a nauseous feeling in my stomach when I watch a guy play his last game. I did this with Derek Jeter. I was obviously a huge Derek Jeter fan. I kind of did this with Ben Roethlisberger in his last home game, where I get stress and anxiety knowing that that's their last game, and I put myself in their head. Ben walking out onto the football field, he's been doing this for 18 years, and this is the last time he's going to do it. It almost has to feel like a mini version of dying to him, where he now knows that his life is over. And he's consciously knowing that. It's I almost think mentally, these really big other-than-life figures, they like die twice. Like, we actually watch them do the thing that they've lived, and we say, you're done now. It's over. You can't come back next year. This lifestyle, you walking out of a tunnel playing football in front of millions of people, is never going to happen again. That last snap, it's never happening ever again. And what in our lives, maybe we retire from work, but that feels a little bit different because you could always go, I don't know, you could, if you retire from punching numbers into a keyboard, you could just go do that tomorrow. There's something about this being his last one ever. Derek Jeter took the field at Yankee Stadium. Never again. It feels like he's dying, so it's got to be such a weird feeling.
Well, and it happens so early, right? Like, if you're working a regular 9 to 5 and you're punching numbers, you retire, 60, 65, hopefully? And for a guy like Ben, he's probably 38, 39, so he's got a lot of time left, and now he's just like, but now I don't feel like I have anything to do because this sport that I've loved and have been playing for so many years is now moved past me, and I'm not able to do it anymore. So now they have to fill all of that time.
Yeah, and I would say I think that they're clearly is a build up to that moment for them where they've been thinking and feeling about getting out for a while. So they're prepared for it. Obviously, in that singular moment, I think it catches up to them. You always see a ton of emotion. But I think a part of them is A, like excited to not go through the shit that we're talking about now. They always cite that. And then B, like they're excited about future, whether they get into managing a team or, general manager or front office stuff or broadcasting. Like those guys are used to immersing themselves fully in their career and whatever they do. So I'm sure a part of them is just excited to focus on something different that's not going to beat the fuck out of their body. But yeah, I mean, when you've only known something for that long, I'm sure it does feel like something's dying. And you see them like cry. You see these big badass guys just like break down and fucking start crying because it's a really emotional thing when you lose something like that. So yeah, I bet it's a really, really weird feeling. And
We're
there's no
also
rush
talking
like
about-
being out there in front of a big stadium.
We're also talking about highly, highly competitive people who then you need an outlet for that. And I don't know where you get that. Like, you don't necessarily get that. You see a lot of guys jump into media and commentary, but that's not going to scratch the itch that it is playing, 16 games a year against at the highest level. Like, you see guys having a hard time adjust because they're so competitive, and you really can't get that anywhere else than in the arena that they've been playing in for 2 decades.
Yeah, and the reason I bring it up is because we talked about why do these guys do it when they don't just walk away, and the Andrew Lucks are very, very rare because I think that there is a part of you that actually dies when that happens. These guys, that's who they are, and they're not allowed to do it anymore, and they want to do it as long as possible. And it's interesting, like a Tiger Woods,
right?
He could just walk away. Everything he's ever been through, he could just walk away simply because of the money, his lifestyle. It's done. He's a billionaire. It's over, dude. You're done. He doesn't want to walk away.
He could have walked away 10 years ago.
Yep, he doesn't want to.
He could have just disappeared, but it's like we talked about a few episodes ago where he's the guy who buys a cabin in the woods or a farm with 50 acres, and then all of a sudden a black car starts driving down the street, and he's like, I got to get back out there. He just can't let it go for what he's.
And you know why? Because one day we're all going to be in the fucking dirt, and he's still got a chance to play professional golf.
For sure.
And go and win fucking majors and solidify his career. And he's got a chance to keep doing it, and he's going to do it as long as he possibly can. I'm seeing all these articles by these guys saying he's going to retire at the 22 Open and all of this stuff. He's got a chance to keep playing, and he's just going to keep doing it.
Well, I think until like Roethlisberger in football, it's so different than golf. It's like Roethlisberger is being told that like he can't compete anymore, where nobody, like the golf game hasn't told Tiger or any of those guys that they can't compete at the highest level. And so like Ben just physically can't go out there and do it week over week, where Tiger, like we've seen glimpses where you're like, no, he can. And then we've seen these comebacks that are amazing. And so, having that carrot out there is much easier for Tiger because he feels like he can get back onto that, like the top of the mountain, where Ben, there's just no way. Like his body's not getting any younger. He's taking physical abuse to the top. And so knowing that, I'm sure like those competitive people, like if Ben thought that he could re-engineer his body or improve or something like that to be a top level quarterback, I bet you he would keep going. But he's at a point now where he clearly can't. Exactly.
Tom Brady's going to play until he's 60.
Right.
I have to imagine Tiger Woods, that back nine on Sunday in 2019 when he won the Masters, that back like 2 hours, I imagine for him had to be the single greatest feeling that a human being can feel. It had to be such a rush competing like that after everything, realizing you were in the moment again after everything, watching the leaderboards, hitting the shots, seeing guys hit it in the water, understanding and coming to like the full realization that you can win this golf tournament, and then coming up 18 and having that and having Charlie and having all the guys come out with their green jackets and congratulate him. That had to be such an unbelievable rush and feeling that he wants to chase that now continually forever. And as he got further away from 2008 and winning at the US Open on a broken leg, I imagine that faded a little bit, but something inside of him continued to drive him to come back. This 2019 Masters, that's probably still pretty fresh for that guy. And that's good news for us because I think he, knowing exactly like you guys are saying, that there's nothing preventing him other than himself from going out there and posting low scores at golf tournaments, that he's just in another constant battle with himself. He thinks he can win that battle, and he's chasing that feeling from 2019 that I imagine that's all he wants to do. Yeah, he wants to be with his family and kids, but outside of that, when they're at school all day or when they're with their mom or wherever, whenever he doesn't and can't pretty much spend time with them, what else is he going to do other than work on becoming the best golfer he could possibly be so he can win another Masters?
100%.
I want to start normalizing using mommy and daddy in conversation. You know?
Why?
It's just
Why?
funny.
Let me ask you why.
If Riggs would have just done that whole thing, which was amazing, and it got me jacked up for Tiger, and he would have been like, so that these kids with their mommies and daddies, it just would have been funny. That would have been fun. That would have made me chuckle, and I want to laugh in this life.
Unfortunately, I think if you normalize it, it becomes less funny. Like if you only drop it here and there, then when you casually use it and no one else is casually using it, then you're gonna get laughs and weird looks. But if everybody's saying mommy and daddy, then I don't think you're gonna get laughs. But I think you should start working it into conversation.
I do.
And podcast and you actually just did, and it made me laugh. So
well, last night, someone I hadn't seen in a while, who is on my roller hockey team, he just played his first game the other night. He goes, "Oh, how's mom and dad?" And I wish he would have said, "How's mommy and daddy?" And it would have cracked me up, dude. I'm gonna start using that when I don't see someone for a long time. Hey,
it's a
Ryan,
good perverted laugh. Like if you drop a "Hey, how's mommy and daddy?"
How's mommy and daddy?
It brings a perverted side of the conversation that. It
just makes the person feel like a child, and it puts you in the driver's seat. Oh, how's mommy and daddy? You still living at home? You know what I mean? Something like that. It's good.
You should lead when we do interviews, Frankie. You should just lead with that. So hey, like, welcome to the show, Kevin. Like, how's mommy and daddy? And just see what he said.
No, I'm gonna slip it in there in an interview for sure.
You're gonna further separate yourself from society. Society is going to stop interacting with you if you continue to do that.
Okay,
which I think
this brings up a good question though, and I've had this debate pretty recently. It was around Christmas. Do you guys use mommy and daddy in like your regular vocabulary when you're talking with your siblings, right? Like if you don't ever, so it's always mom and dad for you guys. So if you say where's your sister or something will never say where's mommy or where's daddy at, and she'll wow. See, we do. I don't know if that's exposing too much, but for some reason my sisters will always say like, "Oh, have you seen mommy today?" And I say no, and it just seems normal to me. I might not.
All right.
Okay.
I would never say it to them though. It's always to the siblings.
We do. We don't do that, and I don't want to shame you for that, because if that's something you and your siblings do, that's fine. We do. We do ma and pa. We say we're ma and pa.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
it's
nice.
I
just
say
like,
mom and pops.
Yeah.
We just say mom and dad.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I'm
Do you
sure.
feel, Frankie? Do you feel exposed?
I don't because I know there's people out there that do it.
They're saying, "Hey, how's mommy and daddy? Have you spoken to mommy?"
It's more of like
it sounds
I
like
guess it's
all
my
of you are still
sisters.
sucking at the teat here.
No, I guess my sisters do
little
it.
bit.
I don't know. There's just something. Mommy, like they'll
Have you
say
seen
that.
mommy today, sis?
I don't want to shame it, because the relationship you have with your siblings is sacred. So whatever
It's more of like,
you guys say to each other, I think is fine.
Yeah, I guess it would seem normal to me where they're like, where I say, "Well, where's everyone?" and she would go, "Well, mommy's at the store." And like,
Well, if you look at your sister and say, "Man, I really need to see mommy," that just
No,
sounds like
I wouldn't. See, I wouldn't do that though. See, it's in certain situations. It's weird,
Okay.
but it's definitely more normalized amongst siblings for me than it is. I would never say to them, "Mommy," you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't say,
Or I need to
hi.
see mommy. That just doesn't land right. It's
I
like,
wouldn't pick up the phone and say, "Hi, mommy," ever.
okay.
Like, hey, mom, that's what it is. It's more, where is mommy?
Okay.
That's yeah.
That's better.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Am I getting kicked out of this room, Bug?
Oh yeah.
I'm getting kicked out, so I might have to leave you guys. You guys can keep going, but I think I gotta bounce.
Who's kicking you out right now?
I think Mush the Lion is coming in. So
Okay. Yeah, they're live too, so I think that
Yeah. out of respect for the pod studio scheduling,
Do you want to drop and then open it back up when you go to a room? wanna just go on your
Maybe I don't have
laptop?
my mic or anything, so it's
I
going
don't
to be
think we need
jarring to the listener.
Okay.
Drop, but yeah, I mean, you
can just
What do you
drop. I
wanna
mean,
do,
we've got an
Trent?
hour and 10 of Trent Daddy right now. I mean, I don't know how much longer we'll go here. It's a, bleak.
Yeah, just a couple things I'd like to talk about, and then we'll
Oh,
pretty
he
much
wants to
go.
do his yay and nay thing. Trent, you can't stick around for that? Come on, man.
All
Why
right,
don't you
I'll
get
try
a
to-
mic? Can you find a
I'll try
mic
to-
and go to a different room?
I'll try to jump into another room. Yeah, I'll
Who
try.
cares about the
All right.
listeners with jarring? Come on, they're fine. They've been through enough.
They're
They've
gonna
been
love
All right,
your
I'll-
voice. They're gonna
all right,
love
I'm
the
outta here
voice,
for right now.
Whether it's through a
Hopefully-
computer or a
hopefully-
microphone or
Hopefully, I
Figure it
will
out.
rejoin you in a couple minutes. Yeah.
Should be a
All
couple
right.
seconds, really.
yeah, it should be quick, man.
35
So
seconds.
go fast. Hey, that's not nice, Trent. People
All right,
on
let's put the
YouTube
clock
saw that.
on. He's leaving on my. I have like a little counter when we do this, and it's been an hour, 10 minutes, and 51 seconds. Let's see
Frankie,
exactly.
quick. Is there anything you want to say about Trent before he jumps back in?
He's got to get his heart rate way down. That's a problem
Yeah.
for all of us. And then
True.
he also needs to. Oh, there he is. I'm done.
You talking shit? I knew
No,
it. I knew it.
no,
As soon
I'm
as I
not
left.
talking shit. All right, you officially are starting at the 10-second mark. Let's see how long it takes him.
It's
Now
gonna
he's
be a
just
bug.
talking.
He's talking a bug.
Oh, he's walking around. He's wasting his time now.
So there's one thing that we did have to talk about on the show is Tim Rosaforte, who passed away, who I was thinking about. He was all over anybody who follows any golf stuff. Obviously, everyone was chiming in. We didn't know him. We never had him on the show or spoke about him. But that guy was as synonymous with any golf, Golf Central, live from all of that coverage. Whenever they would get into analysis and reporting, insider, he was Mr. like TV insider. It was always they would just cut to Tim Rosaforte, and he would have a quote from Patrick Reed or from Tiger Woods or Tiger's camp or Justin Thomas talking about this shot that he hit or what his preparation's like. Rory recovering from an injury. He would always have the inside scoop. And he, I think up until a couple years ago, was on Golf Channel. They reported that he battled Alzheimer's for, obviously later stages of his life and ultimately succumbed to that. But again, every single person just saying infinitely nice things. And one of the things that stuck out to me that a lot of folks were from, everyone that's worked at Golf Channel or in golf media, golf journalism, was like how friendly and welcoming he was to everyone else in golf journalism, how he was always really encouraging. And we know, like, the golf media space can be a ruthless, cutthroat world. People get jealous, upset. They try to stifle new talents and new voices that come up. And it sounds like he was just the absolute opposite of that. And again, just insanely welcoming and friendly to people, which is really all you can be in this life. So just rest in peace to Tim Rosaforte. Synonymous with me getting really into golf in like the early 2000s, high school age, college age. And every time you flipped on Golf Channel, they would just cut to him for, again, 15 years, it feels like, that I was getting really into golf. So super sad news, and that we'd be crazy if we didn't mention him.
Yeah,
Totally. Yeah.
Alzheimer's is one of the worst, honestly. That's I just feel so bad for his family and just that stuff. But yeah, he was always the face of like cutting news, like, any sort of insight. It was him. So yeah, rest in peace. I mean, he was made golf better for all of us. So very sad.
It was cool seeing some of the clips, old school clips, when he had like a beard and we had kind of some hair, and he was like, because clearly the role again that I knew was that he had sort of the Scott Van Pelt look with the glasses and the shaved head. I got the shaved head, and like seeing kind of him and pictures of him in like the Masters media center and I guess his writing, right? Like I didn't consume a ton of his writing, so like there's a lot of that I saw people highlighting that I went back to and was looking at, because again, it was like a lot of the stuff that I consumed of his was the last 10-15 years when he was the TV inside scoop golf insider. They would always cut to like our Rosie, our golf insider, and he again would have a quote from somebody or whatever. So it's cool to like the different phases of his life. Like he wasn't just born that role. He did a lot of other stuff before he got to that I've been kind of combing through in that side of golf. And I mean, he grew up in golf journalism at a time when like that was the only way you could consume anything from golf media standpoint. There wasn't us, there wasn't podcasting, there wasn't the different avenues, there wasn't even like, Golf Central and the type of medium that there is now for people to consume golf. It was pretty much like you had a handful of your writers that you would read, and that's how you got your information outside of just watching it. So, Trent has returned from the Chicks in the Office studio.
It was about.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
We can.
Okay, great.
It was about 3 minutes and 50 seconds, if I did that right.
That's pretty
You
good.
timed
Under
me?
five
Sounds right.
minutes.
Sounds pretty good.
All the
Frankie, you
all
okay
the
with that
other-
time or no?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. All the little rooms that we have at Barstool, nobody's gonna know what I'm talking about. But they're all filled, so I jumped in the chicks room and I'm here. What are we doing?
Well, we just did a quick tribute to Tim Rosaforte, who obviously you saw. I mean, everybody saw the news yesterday, so we were just talking about how he was synonymous with us watching and any golf coverage for the last like 15 years.
Absolutely. That news was stunning and shocking and sad. He was great. I loved him every time he popped up on Golf Channel or anywhere. Just super sad and super unexpected. Those ones are always just, they really hit you in a different way.
Yeah, especially when you find out that they were battling something as bad as Alzheimer's.
Right.
You saw this with Chadwick Boseman. He had cancer and no one knew about it, and one of the worst cancers you could have. And he's doing Black Panther, and it's just he's acting, and you're watching him and getting entertainment and enjoying him, and you want him to have this amazing career in all these movies, and you're like, this career for this guy's going to be insane, and then one day it's just gone, and you have no idea how that happened or why it happened, and you find out that he didn't want anyone to know. And so yeah, it's amazing that stuff like that and people like that, they don't like to get the sympathy. Like, for him, for both these guys, they didn't promote, as much as like you'd think when you're going through something like that, you'd want everyone to just feel bad for you, and the whole golf world we all should have been talking about it, like, oh, like get better and all these things, and he just kind of battles it on his own. And it's there's a lot of, I don't know, it takes a lot of guts to do something like that, and shows the kind of person you are, that you just want to you don't want to make it about yourself, and you kind of just want to keep plowing ahead.
Yeah, there's been a couple like that. Norm Macdonald was recently too, the same way. It was just like it happens all of a sudden, and right, they're doing these private, quiet battles, and then it makes it all the more shocking when news like the news yesterday came out. So just really sad, really tragic stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah, Rosie was awesome. Obviously, never forget him. And again, go consume some of his reports and some of the great videos of him that are going out. Some of his writing, phenomenal, because he was one of the best. So rest in peace. Very, very sad news. All right, I got a little segment I would like to do, which again is a little yay or nay. I got just a handful of things that I listed, and each person go around and say basically yes or no if they think that this is going to happen. I'm going to start with, will Tiger Woods play in 4 or more tournaments this year?
Yay.
Nay.
You don't think he plays in all the majors, at least?
No, he does not play in the Masters.
Wow. I'm a yay. Hard yay.
I think he plays in the U.S. Open and the Open. I don't think he plays in the PGA.
I'll take
or
the number as
Masters.
6.
Wow.
Oh, wow. I'm saying yay, because I do think he'll play in all the majors. And even if he doesn't play in the Masters, I think he works another one in there somewhere.
Right, to warm up. That's right.
I think he plays Sawgrass.
It's really close for me. I originally had it at like 3.5. We'll do the 3.5. And I was like, no, 4, because the majors. I'm going to say yay, but I don't feel great about it. I think that he might sit a few of the majors out. I do think he plays Augusta, but again, I could see him, whether it's weather related or whatever, sitting out a British Open, or who knows. I could see, or he has a setback or whatever. So I don't feel awesome about it, but I am going to say yay. This one, it's a little different because I know somebody picked him for one of the, but I'm going to say simply, will Jon Rahm win a major this year?
Oh.
Yay. That guy's on top of the world. His golf game is
Trent
preposterous.
Yay. I mean, you would seem crazy as it sounds to say this, that he's not going to win a major, when winning a major is an incredibly difficult thing to do. But when you watch this guy play, even at a place like Kapalua, he didn't win, but he was right there clearly. And he's just, in terms of golf, even how fluid that is, and you never know how good you're going to be week to week, Jon Rahm feels like about as good of a bet as you can get.
Dude, we talked about him prior to Kapalua, how he's the best player on the planet. The guy's nails, doesn't ever have a bad day on the golf course. He showed up to Kapalua, tied the course
record. After
record
taking 2 months off. He didn't play for 2 months.
Tied the course record with a 61 minutes after JT did it, and then finished 32 under par, barely missed winning the tournament. I mean, that was our first time seeing Jon Rahm since we've been talking about how amazing he is, and he went 32 under par. So I mean, at the end of the day, this guy's not going to stop winning. He's not going to stop playing amazing golf. When he plays amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to say yay. Again, it might be recency bias. Like, I think a week ago, for as stupid and illogical as that is, a week ago, I don't know that I would have said yes. But he's the best player in the world, and he showed up and, like you said, just shot 32 under par. It seems like, looking at it right now, it seems like you have to say yay. But as you guys started at the beginning, like, it's in any given year, it's really unlikely that any one player just wins a major. It's really, really unlikely, no matter how good they are. So it feels like it should be an obvious yes. Statistically, it's probably an obvious no. But then I'm going to say yes and yay as well.
The way I would look at it is he's in one of those windows where when you look at Jon Rahm, you think at some point in his career, he is going to rack up a bunch of wins, majors, regular tour events, whatever. And there's going to be those windows where he's just insanely good. And I think he was in that window last year, and I think he's continuing that window right now. So you got to think in this window, he's going to get at least one, maybe two. Again, statistically seems unlikely, but it's you watch him play golf and you're like, this guy is easily the best player on the planet, with a guy like Collin Morikawa, who is also on this planet playing golf, and Jon Rahm is better than him.
His stats are ridiculous last year. He entered 22 events, made the cut 21 times, was a top 10 15 times of those 21 or 22 events. Like, those are outrageous stats. And then if you bake it back one more, he was top 25 18 of those 22 events. So, like, the guy's a freak in terms of what he brings. Like, I would say, I would love to know what the line is, the Vegas line on will Jon Rahm win a major. I would bet it's somewhere close to, like, even money.
I bet it's like minus 120 even.
You think it's a favorite? So you think it's better chance that he will than won't?
Yeah, because I think with those types of bets, I think that the house knows how. It's similar to like when Tiger used to be like a 1-to-1 guy to win a tournament.
Right.
I think
the
house knows that people are going to be kind of emotional about it because of how good he's been for the last year, that they could get away with skewing it a little bit more towards a favorite.
I don't know. I think that's tough. I think because each one, when he's a favorite, he's like still plus 350, plus 400, right? Going into a tournament. You're telling me combining all four, and you think it's going to be minus 150 to just win one?
No, minus 120 or minus 110, which is pretty much a pick 'em.
I guess, if you went into, like, because I agree, Frankie, like, he's usually between, like, plus 300 to plus 600, I feel like, for most majors. So if you just went in and did a parlay with those same odds to a different, just found some odds where, 4 different games were plus 300 to win, I'd be interested to know what that comes down to, because I do agree, like, that's about where it is to see if he would win one of them. But I can't think that it's minus. Either way, the guy's a freak, and I'm very much bullish on one major this year out of him.
Will Patrick Reed have a cheating scandal?
Oh God, nay.
It won't be nothing's gonna be a scandal with him anymore. I mean,
what?
No, no, I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say yay, because he is the kind of guy, and this might not be the right way to view it, where trouble finds him. One would argue that he finds trouble, but for whatever reason, these things gravitate towards him, just like headlines gravitate towards Tiger. Weird scandal situations on a golf course seem to find Patrick Reed for whatever reason, and I think it's undeniable that it'll likely happen again.
I'm gonna say yay. I think it happens. I think Trent's right. I don't know. I think the combination of there's a microscope on him, people hate him, people want to, attack him and expose him for stuff, so they just zoom in on every little thing that he does. There's a Pruder film, and I think he can't help himself. I think he kind of enjoys it to a degree. I really do, in a sick fuck kind of way. So I think yay. And I was thinking like the Torrey Pines was last year, right? When he had the incident with Tiger. Or not Tiger, with when Rory did the same thing with the ball and the relief and all that.
Yeah, that was last year.
So it's been like less than a year since he had one. And then the year before that, it was like he had the Hero World Challenge thing with so it's like, I think about every year it feels like something happens. So I think we might be due, and we have a whole nother, basically almost full 12 months for him to do it. So I think he's going to do it.
I just think he's not the Patrick Reed that he was even last year or 2 years ago. He's not his personality. I mean, like, he left off the Ryder Cup. It's just, I don't know that the microscope's going to be on Patrick Reed with all these other golfers. I think Patrick Reed was a different Patrick Reed last year, 2 years ago. there's just something like I just don't think he moves the needle as much as we want him to, because there's just so much other good stuff going on in golf that we don't need. We don't need the Patrick Reed being Patrick Reed to make golf interesting right now. And I just don't think we're going to look for it.
It's almost not up to that. It's almost up to places he finds himself on a golf course. Like if he
but like it's been like a year since he did the last one, and like he would argue that like he didn't do anything wrong at that point, even though it finds, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
I would assume with less eyeballs on him, he should be able to make it through the year just like he did in 2021, essentially for the whole year. Like we just didn't. I haven't thought about Patrick Reed until he just got left off the Ryder Cup team.
Yeah, but if you ask like a golf fan about Patrick Reed, you'd be like, "What's the first thing that comes to mind when we think about Patrick Reed?" It would likely be a cheating scandal.
Totally.
Yeah.
He's got like
So
3 or 4 of them.
That stigma or whatever hasn't gone away.
I think he was in the brighter lights.
Frankie, I think like Patrick Reed's always, I feel like he's gone dormant and then he's had great results, so if he matches that early on, like he's always played, really well at Augusta, like if he has a good outcome there, he brings himself right back into the limelight. And then all of a sudden, God forbid it's another President's Club where he like moves a bunch of dirt and then hits the ball or whatever the case happened, figure out what Used Golf Facts said. But like that, all of a sudden it's just bang. Like that, I think it's really just a switch. Like if something happens and it's on film, he still could be almost about to make the cut, and Patrick Reed's enough of a name brand where it's like, that's a light switch. Things are back on, and people hate this guy.
Yeah, I just think he can't help it. I think he can't help it. I think it's just what he does. I think he has to do it.
He won the Farmers, right? I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he won.
So he was playing well, like Lurch is saying. He was playing well.
And that's what I mean. It comes with him being in the spotlight.
He almost gets cheating yips, where the spotlight's on him, and he's like, "Oh fuck!"
It's a heavy turn, T.
And it's just, and he just does something. I'm with Riggs.
Will Trent Ryan break 90?
Wow.
Oh, it's about to get real in here.
I'm gonna go last.
I'm going to go first. I say yay, and I'm probably the most confident yay that I have.
Yeah, I think it's a no doubt. I've seen him. He should have broke 90 the day he shot 95.
Look at Lurch is not. Lurch is
I'm
trying to find a yay. He's trying to find a yay in there, but he also
if we're going for
honest.
the path of honesty here, T, how committed are you to playing a bunch of golf this year?
Very committed.
Is there any goals in place of how many rounds that you're trying to get this year?
No, I haven't thought about a number.
It's not the answer that Lurch wanted.
No, I'm going to, like, if you put in the work, you can do it, but I think that you're going to play about the same. You're going to go on these trips. I'm a nay.
Fuel my fire, baby. Fuel my fire.
I'll be that ugly mug here that's saying
bulletin board material down
I'm
there.
putting it up there. I'm putting Lurch doesn't believe in me on my billboard.
No. That's not it. You piece of shit. No, I'm saying due to the current situation, you're not going to do it. Now, if those change, if we've got market changes, then yes.
Well, I'm giving myself a yay because not only do I trust myself, I trust my guy John Tillery. I know I can't wait to start working with him again, and I know, congrats to him. His dogs just won the title. He'll be in great spirits the next time I see him. Although Jake Bass, Alabama fan, will probably be with us, so that'll be odd. But I think once I get back in the mode, and Tillery's going to be excited because we haven't spent really much time at all together since I broke 100. So when I go down there, it's going to be good vibes. We're going to get back on the grind, and then to Lurch's point, I am going to try to play like as much as I can, as much as New York City affords or the trips that we go on afford. And I think if we get back in a rhythm, playing pretty consistently, practicing at 5-iron consistently, I see sub 90 in my future for sure.
I see it in your game 100%. It's just like if you go out and play, I don't know, 15 to 20 times this year.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
What'd you shoot when you broke a 90? You shot 95? Broke 100?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you made it an 8 on the first hole or a 7 on the first hole. So there were a lot of blowups too at Garden City that day. That if you really go back and see how dumb some of the decisions were that we made, and it got away from us and bad drives or whatever. I mean, that's an 88, 89 with a couple good. It's gonna take a couple long putts and a couple good chips, which it does for all of us when we're trying to score low. But I think it's gonna happen. I think he's gonna get to a point where mid-90s are the average round for him, where he's playing well, just getting off the tee, hitting greens, getting out of bunkers is the biggest thing. We can't have the 11s. If we eliminate the 8s to 11s, he's breaking 90.
One of
Right.
my favorite stories to T was we didn't see him for 5 holes at Bethpage Black, it felt like. And I was like, T, what happened in those last couple holes? And those were in the days where you kept, and maybe you still do, you keep all your scores on your phone. So you go into the notes app or something like that and put it, and you were like, yeah, I just had like a 12, an 11, and a 13, and then maybe a 10. And I was like, oh, boy.
Yeah, I was looking at. I've got the 95 scorecard from Garden City on my refrigerator, and I'll sometimes just be standing there looking at it. And on the back, I think I made 3 triple bogeys in a row, and vibes were fucking low.
Whoa.
And like Frankie and I were like, we're once again out here, and today is not the day. And then I mixed in a bogey, I think a couple pars, and so if I can just clean up the runs where I just triple bogey after triple bogey, then I think we're in a really good spot. Because Frankie's right. If I had just played a little bit better at Garden City that day, that could easily have been an 89.
Breaking 90 is bogey golf. So we
Yeah.
play bogey golf, and we mix in a par. We mix in 2 pars, then we have a double bogey.
Game of 5s.
Right,
Yeah.
you're able to just do that, and we're gonna find that line where you make 2 or 3, maybe you make a birdie on a par 3. You're actually sick on these 145-yard par 3s. You hit it to 4 feet, we make a birdie. Now we make a triple on the next hole. We're right back to the game of 5. We're fine. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna break 90.
T's game is there to break 90. I'm more just saying how much is he gonna play to do it, because like I mean, he hits the baby cuts down the middle. Like, I'm bullish on that side. It's just how much is he going to play?
Well, the trend that I see is that Frankie is already committing a lot more. He's out there hitting balls all the time. You guys got a great little connection. You guys seem to rally each other when it comes to playing golf around the New York area. So I think Frankie is going to be playing a lot more. He's into it this year. I think that's going to make Trent be into it a lot more. I see you guys playing a lot more golf, especially once spring starts to break. We got more trips coming and all that. You're going to get fired up once we go to the Kingdom when we get fitted for our new TaylorMade gear. So I think all that's going to trend towards Trent playing and committing to more golf. We know the game's in there. So that combination, I think Trent's going to shoot like 86 one day. I think he's going to like blow it out of the water.
Hell yeah.
That's going to be so much fun to watch, because that would be real golf. 95 was real golf, but there was 3 triple bogeys. You started off with a 7 or an 8. I can't remember what it was.
86 puts you in like the top 10% of golfers. Like, you know what I mean? People say that like they're good. Oh, you guys suck. It's like, dude, 86 is real golf.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, it's so hard to make pars. Like, think about how hard it is to make a par. You have to stand up there, hit a ball like 2 to 3 football fields in the air into a narrow spot. Then that's just one. Now you got to go take what looks like the upside down version of a fucking knife and then hit a ball that's like 2 inches wide onto a tiny little surface. And then there's a hole that's the size of a fucking cup that you have to like roll this ball into like a circular hole, and that's just once. So you got to try to do that 18 fucking. It's impossible.
It was
It's
funny. I
so
was doing
fucking
that.
hard.
I was doing that simulator last night, and they give you. We didn't do the gimme putts. We just did auto putts so that we can kind of get through it. And sometimes it just decides if it's a 1 putt or a 2 putt, and that was pretty funny. At one point, I was 4 over through like 11 holes, and it was just giving me these auto 2 putts from. I was hitting these greens for sure, but giving me an auto 2 putt from 45 feet away, and I was just laughing, being like, "There, I'm in real life. I'm 8 over through these 11 holes, even just because of me 3 putting at least half of these that they're giving me the 2 putts on." So the game is impossible, and it's very funny to watch how much better we'd be if we just were competent around the greens, because I was just all I had to do was get it on the dance floor, and it was giving me a par.
I got a bunch of messages yesterday when I said my goals is to hit better drives. People were like, "Are you even a human being? Like, if you could just putt the ball, you'd be way better. How is that not a goal for you going into next year?" Which is very fair.
It's valid. Those are valid points.
Yeah.
I've almost like to Frankie's like chipping issues. It's like I've almost given up on putting for at least until I feel like I'm really dialed with everything else, and then I'll think about that again.
Riggs brings up a good point about par, because par is the golf course has decided this is what you're supposed to do potentially. And I've never done what I'm supposed to do on a golf course. And that's what's scary to me, because they're like, all right, you can make a 4 here. Somewhat competent golfer can make a 4 here or a 3 here. And I just feel like that's scary to me, because I don't know if I'm able to do that. So I got to get over some mental hurdles as well. But I think the game is there. I think it'll happen.
I do think the biggest thing that I've learned in all the golf that I've played, and who knows if it's right or wrong, but it's just what I've learned, is that like you should be able to get to a point where making bogey is pretty easy. That's like, right? Like you can hit a pretty shitty drive and be like, okay, I can still find out how to make a pretty easy bogey. I can slap one up there within 60 yards of the green. I can wedge one into the middle of the green. I can two putt or maybe even have a chance for a par. And worst case, I can make a pretty easy bogey. And then when you're playing even pretty shitty, if you can string together a bunch of pretty like easy bogeys, and then when you're playing well, mix in a good handful of pars, all of a sudden you're kind of in the low to mid 80s, and that's not that bad. And then like if you get a little bit better than that, you could be in the high 70s. You play a little bit worse than that, you might be in 90, low 90s. But like if you can just kind of, I feel like, get the mindset of making pretty easy bogeys or learning that like bogey's pretty easy to make, great. Doubles fucking suck. When you make a double bogey, you're just like, ugh, like that's just so demoralizing. And I think we all know that. Whereas bogey, you're like, all right, some bad shots there, made a bogey, no big deal. Let's keep rolling. So that's sort of like the mindset that I've tried to get into. It might be a loser's mindset. Like, you probably should want to get to a point where like par is pretty easy, but I think bogey being pretty easy is kind of a good goal.
Agreed.
Yep.
I like that. It's tricky because, like, I mean, for me, yeah, just putting. Like, then you're kind of guaranteed two putts, like, once you're on the damn green. But, like, I got to get there soon in order to ensure that I can make a par or a bogey because I just don't.
We need to get ahead quickly.
Right. I get, like, if we're playing a match and we're on the green at the same time, I'm going to lose that in, like, a bad way. And so that's why I'm talking about, like, driver and irons, because I think if I can up my level of precision with those, then I've got a better chance of, like, kind of leveling the playing field with pars and bogeys. Because, you know, there's a good chance I have an 18-footer and I leave it 4.5 feet short, and it's like, now what do we do?
Dude, the guys at the TaylorMade shoot, when we were over by the putting green checking out a bunch of their new putters, and Lurch leaned his up against like the bag that had all the putters, and one of them just came over to me and grabbed it and just goes, he doesn't actually use this thing, does he? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, how's his putting? And I was like, well, I mean, what do you think? And they were like, Jesus Christ.
That guy Bucky comes over to me. He's like, dude, this thing is jacked out of its mind. I don't even know what that means, but I guess it's like off where like it should be. And he's like, I got to take this and fix this. He's like, you play with this? I was like, yeah, I don't know. He's like, does it look wrong to you? I was like, no, I don't know. It looks fine. But
he said it was bent to like a 1 degree loft. He said it was like 7 feet tall. He's like, there's just no way somebody can roll a ball with this thing. Okay, last one for yay or nay, and then we're done. Will Tiger Woods break 70 this year in a PGA Tour round?
Shoot 70 or better?
Break 70. So
shoot in the 60s. Yeah. Or 50s.
I feel like I feel like I'm an idiot right now. Yeah. Yay. No.
Yeah.
Obvious?
Well, yeah. You hope if he is decided that he's healthy enough to play in an event, we don't want him out there shooting 71, 72.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, yeah, you hope. So if he's decided he's healthy, I want to see him in the 60s.
Go 3 under in 1 round. Come on, man.
Here's my logic is that the only tournaments I think he's probably going to play are going to be hard ones. It's going to be major championships or maybe a Players or like the Memorial, which is a really hard golf course. So if we're saying like we don't even know that he's going to guarantee to start in 4 events, so now if he's got 3 to 4 tournaments and we don't even think he's healthy enough to guarantee that he can play in 4 or 5, I don't think it's a lock that he shows up and is posting scores in the 60s. Now, I'm going to say yay because I'm a big Tiger believer, but I don't know if you put it on a sports book or something, will Tiger Woods post a score on the PGA Tour in the 60s this year? You guys think those odds would be like astronomically favorite that he will break 70?
Yeah, with the idea that he is playing this year, it would be astronomically favorited that he would break 70. He could play at Bay Hill or fucking Sawgrass or something, post a 68 and still be in 15th or 20. You know what I mean? He doesn't even have to be that competitive by shooting 3 under par. If he plays in just a regular tournament to warm up for something, I think he can knock himself around St. Andrews no problem and get in the 60s. I mean, I think he could do that on one leg in his sleep. He loves that place. He's the best golfer of all time. I'm putting hard, if he is playing this year, hard yay in the 60s. Hard.
Yeah, I'm a yay too, just because I trust him. And I trust that he knows when he's going to be ready. And I know he's always said in the past, and it's been the thing people talk about, where he's like, I'm only playing in a tournament if I think I can win it. That mindset, Whether or not he says that's still true, I don't know. But like, if he's playing, he's at least going to be competitive. He's not just going to go out there, shoot 74 and fly home. I'm a big yay.
I'm a yay. This is actually the first time where I've been like, I would say it's a thoughtful consideration and question, but this is almost anti-Woods. This is almost like negative Woods out of Riggs.
Well, I would say that Frankie's saying, like, if he plays, well, that's part of it, right? Like, if he doesn't play a single tournament this year, then he didn't break 70 in a PGA Tour event. So
That's fair.
I think all of those considerations, I'm super happy with your guys' answers. I'm glad that everybody thinks it's a no-brainer. I'm obviously a yay. I picked him to win the British Open. So, I mean, unless it's fucking 200-mile-an-hour winds the whole time, I'm going to need that guy to post some scores on the 60s. I'm glad that this is an obvious one, and I think that it actually has us ending on, like, of course, Tiger Woods, which I think less than a year ago, that guy was in that mangled car, and now we all think it's a no-brainer. He's going to shoot a PGA Tour score in the 60s this year. I love that.
Fair. All fair.
Before we wrap up, I want to give a shout out to my guy, pretty decent golfer, Collin Morikawa. If you go on his Instagram, well, I don't know if it'll be up by the time you listen to this, but he was doing a little AMA on his Instagram story, and someone says, will you be turning up to more tournaments in suits in 2022? This needs to take off. He posts a picture of himself at Liberty National and goes, not sure yet, should we, at Frankie Borelli? So, I mean, that guy is just, he's one of a kind, Collin Morikawa. He tagged Foreplay too. He just knows what's going on. It's like he was made in a lab. It's just the nicest guy on the planet, answers all the questions correctly. He knows the jokes. He knows how to be one of the guys, the most competitive person I think I've ever met. And yes, I think he should show up with more suits. And for anyone that's confused as to why he did that with me, that means that you didn't listen to the interview that I was thrown upon, where it was just me and Collin Morikawa talking a little golf in the office. And I came up with the idea that he should show up to every single fucking tournament in a suit. And then he just listened to me and did it at Liberty National. Missed the cut, or did he miss the cut that day?
I think he missed the cut.
Oh, yeah, he missed the cut.
Missed the cut, and then missed a couple cuts after that, and people think it was the curse of the suit. But he's still Collin Morikawa. I picked him to win the PGA. He's a fucking stud, and I think that should be his thing. He's just got this James Bond sleek look to him, where if he showed up just with a briefcase and a suit, business time, it's gonna work. It's gonna work more often than not. So he might as well just start the trend now, because his game is just gonna keep getting better. Let's start the trend right now.
Did you ask that question on his Instagram?
No.
Okay.
I didn't. I saw that lot when we logged on here for the podcast. I saw it when I was with you guys. I didn't. That was 6 hours ago too when he did it.
That's very cool.
It is awesome. That guy's the man. He's just the best. Like you say, he's
Never
kind of
makes a
created in a
mistake.
lab. He just answers his speeches are better than anybody's speeches. He's the best.
So
all right.
quick tidbit though. Collin Morikawa entered 23 events last year, missed the cut only 4 times. So if you're talking good vibes, I don't know if the suit truly helped, but I'd be a buyer in terms of
The
his
suit's
game.
I think he's probably out of the suit.
But
I don't think so.
Frankie's right. His game is so good that if you sprinkle suits throughout an entire season, that's not going to be the case every time.
But
yes, it would have been it would have been the best storyline ever if
Oh.
he wore the suit and won at Liberty
Yes.
National. It would have been the thing that goes on forever with Collin Morikawa wears a suit. Now he missed the cut, so you could always say you're never doing that again. I just think, all right, the amazing dream-like story is done. You didn't do it. Let's restart, and let's just make it a normal thing that you wear a suit to the golf course, because these guys do want to. It's not just him. I think a lot of guys should do it. They want to show off their
personal
style.
brand.
It
Yeah,
doesn't have to be a
100%.
suit. It doesn't have to be a suit. It can just be a t-shirt and fucking joggers if you want. I just think it's crazy that these guys show up to golf courses. They show up to their sporting event wearing the thing that they're going to wear on the first tee, and they're just like driving in the car wearing it. That doesn't make any sense. They're stopping at Starbucks. You see Rory McIlroy in the morning before the U.S. Open. He's just wearing his sport outfit for that day. It doesn't make any sense. It's just not what the other athletes do. They like get to show off their personality. They get to do they get to do whatever they want. Golfers
Right.
are like
Morikawa,
Tiger
though,
Woods
is-
literally wears a red fucking shirt in the parking lot. It's
He's
weird.
one miscut suit wearing tournament away from he's never wearing a suit again.
Yeah. Maybe we switch it up. Maybe the next time it's a parka or something. I don't know.
I disagree with that. I think Collin clearly likes the idea enough that he wants to bring it back, despite missing the cut at Liberty.
Yeah, I agree with that. He
I
wants
think
that.
so.
To,
You
he
think
wants it
if
to
he
go out
misses
on a positive
another
if it
cut-
goes out.
He misses another cut wearing a suit. You think he's going back for a third time?
Yeah.
You do?
I
think that's.
I don't know. I don't know that it's a lock.
He's competitive enough that he's like, I want to make this suit work.
Overcome
It has to.
Suitgate? Yeah.
But do we know how
Fair enough.
superstitious he is? Right. He might be a little too stitious for that.
We'll see.
Be
We'll see. I hope
interesting.
he gives it another shot. Maybe do it at
I do
like,
too. He will.
Maybe he
I
should
think
join
John
John
Deere.
Deere or
Yeah,
something. Yeah, where he could just dominate. Just get a W under our belt.
It's also up to the broadcast to make it a thing.
They'll
Because
make it a thing.
Yeah.
the NBA, like the NBA has clearly done it better than every other league, where these guys show their personality with what they wear to the arena, and they always have the camera walking them in from the underground parking lot or whatever. So Golf Channel, NBC, or CBS, whoever has the coverage, has to be on that as well.
I don't know that he can wear a suit to the John Deere. I mean, that's.
Wear some
Can you-
overalls. Have a little straw
Right.
come out of his mouth.
That'd be
There
awesome.
we go. Yeah.
I said that as well. I said that each tournament it should be a different style, right? Liberty National was a suit because it was New York City. It was business. He was taking the ferry from Financial District. There was a reasoning for it. You know, I'm not opposed to him showing up to another tournament with the style of that. You know, maybe it's a Miami tournament and he wears like a Miami Vice outfit, or you don't
Just a
you
little
don't-
pizzazz you're looking for. It doesn't have to be a suit, just a little pizzazz.
Let's see
it's like,
your
don't go in
personality
your,
a little bit.
Right. Stop showing up in the thing you're going to tee off in.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
It's a little bit different though, because in those sports like that you're talking about, they're putting on it's a central location where all their gear, all their stuff is. NBA, NHL,
They
and
go to the locker room though.
NFL. No, I know, but it's just for that weekend. Like that changes every week over the year, so it's a little different. But
Not really, dude. The fucking company TaylorMade sending their hat to the locker, and Peter Millar sending the shirts that they have to wear for the week. Like that stuff could just be in the locker. You can wear whatever you want to that locker. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be sent to your Airbnb for the week, and you have to get changed in it.
I think it's a little different in that, like, golf clothes are also like polos and pants, which people just wear around. Like, you don't wear a jersey, a football jersey, like I think people wear polos and pants.
It's going to take effort. You got to change the game.
Yeah,
You
there's people out there like Lurch and Riggs that are going to be opposed to it, and that's fine. Like
I'm not opposed to it. I'm just saying it's a little different.
You know,
Like, how
you
are
wear
getting
pants
more
and
opposed?
polos
Weird
and
as you think.
You
know,
even
it's-
think
I think
through
it's
one of
bizarre
Frankie's
that you
idea,
can-
and you don't
I
go
think it's
blindly
bizarre.
with it. He's upset.
I think it's bizarre that you could possibly walk into a Starbucks and watch Rory McIlroy order a venti latte in his like bright yellow polo and his nice Nike golf pants, and then 10 minutes later check on Twitter and he's just teeing off in a professional event to win $10 million. I think that's strange. I think that there's no personality there. I think he's just a walking poster boy, even on the days that he's not at a fucking golf event. It's
It
just
also
let him be
be-
a person.
We're literally
It could
just
be an
thinking through the idea. We're not against it by any
Right,
means.
we're
It's
just
literally
thinking
Letting
through it. We're
you
just-
know that you're against
Where I
it. And we're
stand.
gonna I'm
Yeah,
letting you know where you
exactly.
stand.
It also could be an opportunity for their clothing brands that they wear on the golf course to get into the casual wear.
Totally.
And they can outfit them, do two separate
Lifestyle brand.
lifestyle brand. All right, this is the outfit you're going to wear to the golf course, and then this is the uniform you're going to change into when you play golf. You can hit both.
Yep.
I like the idea. We were just talking through it. I'm glad we got to talk through it. That was fun. That was
Lurch
enjoyable.
hates the idea and doesn't think I'm going to break 90. It's a sad day.
That's right. That's right. It's an ugly day for me. Frankie, tell me where I stand on everything. And I'll
You're
be
just
better.
negative Nancy.
Oh my god.
How do
That's
you
a
not
perfect
think
close.
How do you think Trent's not going to break 90? That's insane.
So, we're not
we
going to
get it.
redo the whole thing.
He's not going to play enough. I know.
All right, boys. I think that's all we got.
Give a big smile before we go. Let's see those dimples before we.
I'm looking at this. I got this hyper ice thing. I'm just gonna absolutely crush.
I don't
my
like
muscles.
that came from under the table. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
I wish
well,
that came
that's
from
right here. This is on top of
Yes.
the table.
All right.
All right, boys. I hope everybody has a lovely weekend. It was really nice to talk to you guys. Talk through a lot of things, per usual. We'll be back on Tuesday. We got a little Sony Open, a little Hawaiian golf. On Friday, so tomorrow, when people are listening, we are going to release the 2022 Barstool Classic schedule. and we're going to release where the championship's going to be and all that information. And then I believe Wednesday, January 26th at noon Eastern Standard Time is when registration will go live for the 2022 Barstool Classic. So I know a lot of people ask me about that. That's our schedule as of now. Friday, release the schedule. January 26th, Wednesday at noon, registration begins. They usually sell it in 5 to 10 minutes, so people will need to be ready for that. Other than that, have a lovely weekend. Everybody stay safe. Hug your loved ones. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
All right, so we've got information on the PGA Tour Netflix documentary series that's similar, based off of Formula One Drive to Survive, which we talked about a lot on the show. That just broke after we finished recording, so we obviously have to talk about it. Phenomenal cast of characters. Phenomenal. Long. 22 players. Frankie, you read them to us earlier. Would you like to read again the players who will be participating in an official capacity?
Yeah, so Netflix, Drive to Survive, we're all excited. 22 pros, including, also has the number 1 ranked amateur, Kita Nakajima, is going to be in there. And 5 of the top 7 players on the planet are going to be participating in this. And some of the names I'm going to read off are going to be very exciting for us. I mean, these are our guys, and it seems like they're taken from the foreplay pool a little bit, which is nice because these guys have amazing personalities. So Abraham Answer, Daniel Berger, Cameron Champ, Joel Damon, Tony Finau, Matthew Fitzpatrick, Tommy Fleetwood, Ricky Fowler, Sergio Garcia, Harry Higgs, Max Homa, Victor Hovland, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, Collin Morikawa, Kevin Na, Mito Pereira. Oh, fuck. Pereira. Pereira. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Mito, oh my God. Ian Poulter, Xander Schauffele, Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, and Bubba Watson rounds out the list. Those are some big names in there, guys. It's fucking exciting that they're gonna. I don't know how they're gonna cover all those guys playing, but it looks
it's
like
very exciting.
2023.
I mean, from the Formula One, they did such a good job with that. There's a bunch of characters. There's obviously 20 drivers. There's a bunch of heads of the different teams, and they did sort of segmented focus on each one. I imagine they'll do something similar. Something that stuck out to us was they said, we do not. This is the PGA Tour spokesperson saying we do not have editorial control. We will be involved in the extent that Netflix and the producers have the access they need to film at our events. We want them to make a great show, and we all agree the documentary needs to be as authentic as possible. Huge the tour does not have editorial control because, as we all know, the tour protects everybody to an extent, to a degree that's infuriating to many. It says the production team will have complete rights to film at events and use broadcast footage from competition, which will make it really cool that they can mix all that in with a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff. And then in terms of the major championships, it also said for the first time ever, the PGA Tour and the governing bodies that conduct men's major championships, Augusta National Golf Club, PGA of America, the USGA, and the R&A will provide entry into the sport's biggest events. So they're going to have major coverage as well, which I believe was one of the late hurdles. And then there are a handful of, very notable names that were not included in that list of 22. And a pretty good note that they put, and a lot of this coming from our guy Dylan DeChair at golf.com, put in that just because players aren't listed in those 22, they can still appear in the show. They might see that these guys are getting all kinds of coverage. It might be helping them with the PIP, whatever, and decide to be more involved than they thought they would be. So it's not that those guys are out. Phil, Tiger, a few other names in there.
Bryson.
So Bryson, overall, I think this is fantastic news.
It's amazing. It's truly amazing. It's so I think they're trying to model it obviously after Drive to Survive, so they'll film in 2022 and try and push hard for the 2023 season, I'm assuming. So that'll be really exciting. The fact that this is off and running, it's actually happening. Augusta National behind the scenes, watching guys show up to fucking Augusta will be insane if they show that stuff, and all the stuff that goes behind the scenes and all the stress and all the anxiety that goes about leading that goes into stepping up to the first tee at a major. I hope we see everything. There was one source that says that everything that I've experienced so far is that the tour is fully invested in making this the realest possible reality. So them not having any of that control and just opening up the doors to these guys is insane. I know Netflix, with us as media members, quote unquote, we're always held by our hand when we kind of go to those places where they're like, you can't go here, you can't walk there, you can't interview this guy, you can't interview that guy. Netflix obviously has a better reputation, I guess, when it comes to getting stuff crazy, like amazing documentaries. So the fact that they're like, all right, we'll give you guys as much access as we've ever given anyone ever is at least somewhat it makes me feel good that the PGA Tour is going in the right place. Maybe more media companies will get access to that kind of access granted, because they've been the worst when it comes to all that stuff in the past. And the fact that they're doing this is, I mean, night and day from what they usually do, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, it's kind of everything we've always wanted. We always preach on this show that there's interesting personalities on the PGA Tour. We know that. Maybe they're not the biggest names in the world. Like, I think Joel Damon being on that list is super important. He is going to be exposed to such a massive audience with this Netflix documentary that people are going to see like, oh, I really like Joel Damon. He's obviously a professional golfer that I maybe hadn't heard of before, but man, he's funny. He's relatable. He's down to earth. He has a good sense of humor. He's just one of the guys. Max Homa, another one. Like, having names like that, obviously having the big names like DJ and Ricky and those other names that you listed, having them on there, it'll be great to get a peek into their lives because they're just larger than life, and it'll be cool to see what they're like behind the scenes. But I think highlighting some of the lesser known guys who we know have great personalities, it's just going to make the pool of people that are interesting on the PGA Tour bigger. More people will tune in to see a Joel Damon, a Max Homa, an Abraham Answer. And I think that's just great for the game of golf. And if you just model it after Drive to Survive, we all watch that show. We all know how amazing it is. You don't let the PGA Tour cut stuff that they otherwise wouldn't want put out there. You just have this great mix and this great look into a sport that I don't think are enough eyeballs on certain aspects of it, and certain guys that we know have great personalities. So the whole thing is great. And personally, just as a golf fan, I can't wait to see what they come away with.
Yeah, Damon in DeChair's article on golf.com says, I've never had anything like this before. Unlike some of these other guys, I'm not used to having cameras around me all the time. And as for his role, he says, I know that I'm going to be on the show with a bunch of good golfers and me, which is such a Joel Damon quote. He says, I can assume that based off the other people on the show, meaning the top five of the top 7 players on the planet are going to be in it. Based off those guys, they'll probably want a little bit more of the fun from our day-to-day of life, although I also don't want to be the class clown who's never practicing or being productive. Between myself and Gino, the shit we do on a day-to-day basis, we should be able to strike that balance. So that's just Joel being Joel, and he's probably really nervous about it because, like he said, he's never had that kind of limelight on him, but he's going to knock it out of the park because we've seen him, and he's going to be amazing.
And there's also, I mean, one thing, right? We're all talking about the positives, and it's going to be fun. There's going to be some negative shit. Like, if you remember from Drive to Survive, dude, there's fucking bad moments where people are pissed at each other. People say there's almost fist fights. Like, there's going to be people caught on camera that do not have editorial control of things, of them roasting guys. That's going to, like, ruin and hurt relationships. It's going to maybe reveal, like, somebody is candid about an incident where they weren't fully into the rule, or who knows what's going to come up. But, like, I feel like people are sort of glossing over that, like, this is going to unearth some negative shit too, which, as we all know, news and media and the internet loves to harp on negative shit. So that's gonna get some eyeballs and some ears from this thing for sure.
Love it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, we talk about the PIP on this show a lot and how they put in that clause where this only factors in positive things, and we're like, you got to get rid of that negative clause, because that negative shit, for better or worse, whatever, human nature, whatever it is, people like to hear about negative shit. So you need to factor all that in. And like Riggs is saying, it sure sounds like anything goes with this. I would be curious, and this would be a question for Drive to Survive as well, like what type of editorial control the players have. I would imagine it's pretty limited. So whatever they put in there, or whatever these guys say, or whatever they do, is likely going to go into this docu-series, and who knows what's going to happen, and that's going to be probably the most interesting shit.
Yeah, I can't imagine editing this thing. 22 players, all these tournaments, how much fucking footage they have. How do you tell that story? Like, fuck, man. Really impressive stuff by Netflix, and just the fact they're able to do all this stuff. When I watch Netflix documentaries, or just any documentary, it's amazing the stuff these guys do. I watched that one where they found the soccer team in the freaking cave, and like, where is this footage coming from? How do we have this footage?
It's because we all pay $20 a month. Like, a billion people pay $20 a month. They just got endless fucking money.
And Frankie, I'm sure I know there's a small part of you that wishes we could do shit like this. Like this
100%, dude.
like,
I would love to be able to
like
do
the
this.
behind the green stuff is so great. And like, if you could just focus that energy into, even if we've wanted to do it with one player, where we just follow a guy around and see the day-to-day, the before a tournament, the training, all that stuff. And Netflix, like Riggs is saying, they have such an influx of cash at all times. They can pitch these huge ideas and turn it into a reality. So there is a bit of jealousy on our end because we know how great the content is going to be.
Of course, man. I wish we had endless money to be able to spend around. I have to like fight and claw to make sure we get a camera guy for behind the greens. That's why we don't do that many. And it's like, we have to get the access, and that's also why we don't do so many. It's crazy. Just like we have the ideas and you can't get it done. And that's also why we are still like common men, quote unquote. People say that we've sometimes jumped ship with all tailor-made stuff, but you got to remember, like we're watching this just like you are, wishing that we could be the people that Netflix are doing, like the documentarians that Netflix has. Because I know that this is going to be a fucking success. These personalities they have are going to be phenomenal. There will be negative shit, and it's going to be shot so beautifully and so unbelievable. The game of golf has never been seen this way. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait for it to come out.
It's going to be #good for golf. Dave Portnoy's favorite phrase. It's going to be very good for golf. Get it out there. Think about how good Drive to Survive was for Formula One. I mean, I'm into it now. I love those guys. Whenever I see Daniel Ricciardo out there on the internet or responding or on Pardon My Take, I'm fascinated by it. So it's going to be hopefully have that effect of people that don't follow golf. So should be a great thing. I think great news.
Very nice.
Good stuff.
Very nice.